Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the official ARK Podcast number 204. My name is Mistletoe, and I'm here live with the core team. Your host for tonight, as always, the one and only Mr. Atlas. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you for the introduction, Mistletoe. And folks, welcome back to the ARK Daily Podcast. May 23rd, this is a Tuesday for most of the world. Early morning on the 24th for our good friends in Australia, Asia. Hope you're all doing well, living your best life. Thank you for being here to receive the pre-seed alpha. There's so much happening here on the ARK. We're seeing really a lot of folks that are very excited. They like what the team has been doing. ARK has really been paying for a lot of investors. The solution to a lot of the heartache, hard times during the bear. And I don't know if you've had the time to look around and see all the smiling faces, all the folks which ARK has really been a solution for. There's a common denominator here at this community of investors, from the most accredited degen to the most newbie investor. ARK has really made a significant difference. And for most of them, what they say is, it saved my butt. So shout out to everybody who's been on this ride. A lot of work to get to launch. Fantastic history here. We have a lot to be proud about. One of my favorite things is the mobile application. As we plug in the on and off ramps, go out to the real world, use those funnels, the Zoom marketing. I think we're ready to see a lot happen. But it starts with every one of us. We've seen price drop. We understand that this is a time to DCA. The pressure is really, really taken off. Look at the volume of sales. We're way below even when we dropped price. We're seeing about 128,000 ARK tokens and wallets. People are waiting. They want to hear about the pre-seed. We're going to go into the details of that. But folks, this is amazing, the response from the community. I think that we've been able to find a way to communicate with a very large majority of investors here at ARK. They've read the announcement that we put out, and the statistics are very, very clear. We're sitting at 5,304 ARK Vault accounts. Liquidity on PancakeSwap, 342,764 BUSD. ILC holding very, very strong, 420,429 BUSD. Price is at 250. This is the time, folks. We're going to go into this pre-seed. We're going to wipe off the plate 130 ArkFi tokens. You want to talk about taking pressure off, folks? This is it. You're going to witness it. It's already happening. And we want to offer everyone an opportunity. The strategy here is very simple. It's very clear. We know about the roadmap of ARK. We know about ARKnet. We know about the decentralized VPN. We know about decentralized storage, nodes, password management, focusing on security, offering banking solutions to our customers, bringing revenue back here to feed the ILC, to feed the legacy NFT holders who have already received over 42% ROI. Smart money investors stacking up their legacy NFTs. The payout, over 2.9 million on the ROI tab, has been absolutely a success. It's done so much for people. Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're going sideways. They're probably going to be that way for some time. slow but steady. Returns here are fantastic. We want to continue with those. We want to rally. We don't want to drag our feet, folks. We need to take advantage right now of this opportunity to have these tokens that are going back to the ARK Vault. It's a virtual burn. This is our opportunity to rally and grow the system. Get to those 10,000 wallets. Take advantage of the mobile application. Go see the neighbor. This is our project. And if we don't do everything we can, they will take it away from us. This is DeFi, folks. We have to show up. We have to show up big. Before we had the heinous debacle of the panic selling happening here that we all witnessed, we came out with a beautiful contract by Mr. Green that was offering a daily BUSD reward as well as tokens of ARKnet. Best intentions, we don't want to leave anyone behind. We understand where the ARK is going. We understand what we want to be building over in Polygon, ZK EVM, zero knowledge. Combining that with our banking services, our fintech services, generating revenue, all coming back in here. However, we need to be realistic and understand that everything was planned with the stable dynamic price of around 571, 572, 570 per ARK. We don't have that. We're at 250 right now at the moment. We don't want to let that be an obstacle. That's why we came out and we said, hey folks, don't panic, relax. We have the way to honor ArkFi tokens at $5 for the pre-seed. We want to take care of our investors. We want to make sure that you get that friends and family bag. I mean, that is rock bottom. That's where every VC investor, every pro wants to be at that ground level. So we wanted to honor that. We also want to honor what we said about giving folks a 5x from the launch price, which is absolutely amazing. We will have a vesting period, as we don't want all these great people to be tempted to go ahead and dump their bags. I was talking with somebody 2 days ago that told me, Atlas, I got into the Hex sacrifice. I waited 2 years, and I'm glad that they locked up the tokens, because I would have taken that and lost it, investing into things that just didn't have any worth or value. And now they're seeing the payout for the patience, for understanding that you have to let people build and create the environment and create the ecosystem. And if you do it correctly, they will come. I mean, we've seen fantastic success. Between second and third position in market cap over on Pulse Street. Got to give those guys a shout out. Don't win them. They're kicking ass. And it just goes to show, when you do things the right way, you can succeed. And that's what this team's about. Understanding that we want to take care of everyone and give them that $5 redemption for the new tokens. Give them that 5x that before was happening through the investment in the daily BUSD payouts. We're understanding that the liabilities for the ARKnet token, they don't add up. We sat down with our tokenomics experts and said, hey, Atlas, man, you got a heart of gold, fantastic that you just want to save the world, but this is business, and there has to be money for liquidity, for launching. You're going to be listing on exchanges. You need token supply. You need stable supply. You need to do automated market making. You need to pump volume. This is serious business what we're heading into, folks. We want to be competing, growing, standing shoulder to shoulder with the likes of Polygon, AVAX, Ethereum, focusing on the privacy side. This is the backbone. ArkNet is the backbone of all of these products that we're building. It's the key. So it has to be done correctly. We've been getting interest from venture capitalists. There's also talks about going to some launch pads so that we're able to also bring in a whole different crowd. We're looking at a $2.5 million raise. I think that's going to be our bare minimum for launching this token. And we want to get some big players involved here. Do the serious business. And we want you all to be a part of it. So we're going to go into more details how this works. It's different than what we had told you back when price was at $5.71. We are going to honor the $5 to 5x, but it's first come, first served, limited supply. And then we're going to scale it down to $4 redemption, $3.50 redemption, and so forth down. We're going to show you the chart. We're going to explain to you how it works. And I think the best thing is that we're taking 130,000 tokens out of the system, taking that pressure off so we can let the mobile application, let the community rally to get the investors here with us. Me personally, I would love to see a comeback and the price of ARK go to $5.71. I mean, that would be a massive win in the crypto space. And I believe we have the community, we have the work ethic, we have the experience, and we have so much value coming in that we're going to be able to do that. So this is that space in time. We can put everything to work. And hopefully we can make it happen. But I got to tell you, folks, we're going to have to fight for it. If we drag our feet, I don't think we're going to have such a great upside. Maybe find a stable dynamic range again. But there's a lot of folks that came in the past month and a half, didn't get to ROI. So many people here did get the huge win. We want them to also be able to get there. At the end of the day, everyone is still winning. I mean, we're beating the Federal Reserve. We're beating their printers. The returns that are happening here are on steroids. We all know, we all understand that. It's a fantastic product. It's just, we've been accustomed to such a sustainable system. And we have seen play out the fears of the many. But we've always said it, this is not our audience. The average Joes and Janes, the farmers, the truck drivers, those are the people we need to connect with. And believe me, we're going to do so. The vault does not die. The bond does not die. There's many things that people here in the space take for granted, and maybe they're distracted and lured into other investments, aka the pay. I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, but folks, we know what happens. And we do believe in ARK and what it does on a long-term, slow but steady system. But we also understand that a lot of capital is leaving because they're seduced by the 500,000x. Well, ArkNet has that potential, folks. You believe in this team, we always show up, we always deliver, we work extremely hard, we communicate, we have a passion for what we're doing here, we love this community, and we together can play that game. But with true value, real substance, businesses, utility, and the vision, the roadmap is crystal clear, so there is no limit. So I hope you join us on this ride. I hope you see it as clearly as we do. And I think it's all hands on deck. I'm going to turn it over to you, Mr. Brett Nordine. Sorry for the long rant, but I wanted to give everybody here a whole view of where we're at. This is a pivotal, important point in the history of ARK.
Absolutely.
Great issue.
And I think you hit all of the highlights as far as where we are with the pre-seed contracts and some of the adjustments that we had to make to the tokenomics and things that we had originally hoped for. But as we dug in deeper into the financials and really got our arms around, the circulating supply and how much we needed for the development, the liquidity, these launch pads that you mentioned, potentially OTC, potentially VC raise, we're moving in a much different direction with this project than we did with ArkFi, which is, bootstrapped and funded by individual investors. And I think we may be taking a hybrid approach here where we have some private equity, some VC that are coming to the table. I actually had a conversation this morning with one-on-one, and there's a definite appetite, and I would say a different mindset right now in that VC community where there are funds parked. There is a lot of liquidity. Unlike we're seeing here, in Binance Smart Chain specifically, where a lot of money is flowing into meme coins, very unsophisticated investors making very emotional decisions. And we saw that happen even with our project here today, this past week. So for me, it was, a nice wake up call as well, just saying, where are we in terms of maturity of a market, of the investor base that's out on these chains, and what's the appetite for? Is it for real world use case and utilities? Is it for real world projects building real world stuff? Or is it, a bunch of meme coins and people trying to scam each other and manipulate markets? I think if we take a step back and look at what we're trying to build here at a very high level, a very long-term plan that we've always had, I think we need to pivot. And I think pivoting towards opening and allowing investors that have the same mindset, that are connecting with what we're doing, that have an appetite for this type of token that could be, quite frankly, a wealth building and generational wealth building opportunity, then those are the people that are going to come and gravitate towards ArkNet. I think what we're attempting to do is sort of separate that, I'll just say, degen mentality away from the opportunity that we have here with ArkNet. This is going to be a layer 2. It's going to be squeaky clean. It's going to have different rules for tokenomics. We're not going to have these crazy taxes and reward distributions and things like that aren't attached to real utility that's being brought and real use cases that are being brought to the network. We're building an infrastructure product here that will scale and be able to service many, many different ArkFi type projects. So, this is an underlying infrastructure. It's not a forward-facing or front-facing consumer product like we have with ArkFi, where ArkFi is very focused on individual investors, very focused on and off ramps and bringing fiat to crypto and crypto banking, and even the privacy applications like the DVPN, the cloud-based storage, the password passkey manager. Those are applications that are built on infrastructure like ArkNet. So I just wanted to kind of lay the groundwork for that this ArkNet is really a completely separate privacy network, and things get built on top of it called applications. And that's what the DVPN is, and that's what the cloud-based storage is. And I think that's gotten lost a little bit in the sauce, in that I think people were thinking that ArkFi and ultimately ArkNet were, completely combined. And the reality is that ArkNet has to be separate in some ways in order for us to be able to pass certain thresholds for centralized exchanges, for getting the token out and playing the game of marketing in a different way and appealing to layer ones, for example, that desperately need places to store blockchain data in a cloud-based decentralized environment. The VC I talked to today, she immediately went towards the cloud-based the decentralized cloud-based storage, said, wow, we have a really big need for that right now, and there can't be enough of it. So there's a giant need in the more institutional and enterprise grade companies and entities that are out there that are participating in blockchain, that are participating in decentralized finance. They need these type of privacy networks to be able to help their regulatory position. I'll just say that. If they get into centralized situations, they're vulnerable to regulation. So a decentralized solution for these companies, for these entities, they're doing very, very big things in the banking sector, in the information IT sector, in the big data sector. That's who's going to be attracted to this privacy network, in addition to projects like ArkFi that want to be able to provide a consumer-based solution for a VPN, for example, or cloud-based storage. So we're not limiting the application type. We're just making sure that we have enterprise-grade infrastructure so that we can reach the biggest possible markets and appeal to a very stringent and regulatory-based customer at the end of the day. So yes, we are going to have our use cases for decentralized finance type projects, but also moving over into institutional grade blockchain companies and layer one companies that are looking for a privacy network and infrastructure that scales for them. They have a hard time spending money on things like that because they are focused, their business is much different, and they are focused on, for example, their layer one, not where to store their data in a secure, decentralized manner. So I just want to kind of preface everything with that, in that strategically, ArkNet is a separate entity from ArkFi, but they're obviously a mother-daughter relationship in terms of ArkFi will be bootstrapping and helping the pre-development of ArkNet. And in return for that, we're going to allow ArkFi investors to participate in the pre-seed round, and then also ultimately the private pre-sale round as well. We're talking about NFT holders having white positions for that pre-seed round, or for the pre-sale round. And so we are allowing ArkFi investors, and it makes sense to me in my mind to have an equity position in ArkNet as being those who are bringing their ArkFi tokens over, not only benefiting ArkFi in a way. We talked about lessening the sell pressure on the ILC, sending ArkFi tokens back to the vault as a virtual burn. But then also having a chance to use the ArkFi token as a launch pad for ArkNet, which is a very important process. So we think strategically this makes sense, and this approach that we've outlined in the light paper is very solid. We've passed this by several advisors, as well as people that are well versed in tokenomics for the type of token that we're attempting to launch here with ArkNet, and building it from the ground up in a way that's going to be very attractive to not only individual investors, but also potentially venture capital and private equity groups that want to get involved in this, potentially even OTC deals down the road to provide liquidity for centralized exchanges. So we have a much different approach to the marketplace with this ArkNet. So as an individual investor, this is a very, very unique case where as an ArkFi vault investor, you're able to use that ArkFi token in a way to gain entry and access into this opportunity that may end up only being available to institutional and regulated entities at the end of the day, if we want to play that game where we're attracting and building infrastructure for projects like layer ones and projects like even municipalities or governments and things like that. So we need to be cognizant of that, and we need to be aware, not only as individual investors, that this is a rare opportunity, but also that this is going to have a much different flavor in terms of how we present this opportunity, the tokenomics of it, I would just say structure of how things are done so that they're compliant with what a centralized exchange would ultimately want to see in a token that's bought and sold on a centralized exchange like Binance or Coinbase. Those are not out of the question. It's just a matter of us doing things in the right manner and then having funding to support those sequences of events that have to lead up to getting a listing on a major exchange like that. But I definitely don't see that out of the question. And I think we have the team and the network of contacts and people, even in our network here. A lot of the investors may have also connections that can be brought to bear to put this forward in a way that we are like a Near protocol or an XLM or, some of these other big coins that we really look up to and call blue chips. There's no reason why we can't stand shoulder to shoulder ultimately with some of these other layer twos and these other privacy network tokens that have been brought into centralized exchanges and have built a reputation over the years already for being reliable and safe and secure places to bring real world businesses into blockchain technology. So that's really what we're striving for here. It's a little bit different positioning. I just wanted to, throw those ideas out there that's the trajectory that we're going with ArkNet. It's going to be a little different ride. It's going to have some different team members that come along, some faces that we'll be showing you along the way. But that's going to be necessary. Some of these team members may have to be fully doxed and things like that as we move forward. And so nothing's really off the table at this point in terms of turning this into a regulated entity down the road as well. So these tokens are going to be very rare potentially for private investors. And specifically, this is going to be a limited pre-seed round dedicated to ArkFi and ArkFi investors that are holding ArkFi in their wallets. So let's see, where were we at? I really was staring at the yeah, go ahead, Nito. If you have something quick, I kind of want to get through this light paper and then take
please
questions.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Atlas, did you want to just want me to walk through this, or what were you thinking here?
Yeah, let's walk through it together. And then
okay.
We'll open up for Q&A.
Okay, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to my comments there.
Well, no, I think you were very clear and explained the whole macro level and the direction and how this works. So, ideally, this opportunity is going to be fantastic, and it's a limited opportunity. When you see the numbers, you're going to understand how far it's going. And look, we love these investors. We want to make sure that they don't stay behind on that, but there has to be caps. That's the only thing I kind of regret about this is understanding that we can't carry forward massive amounts of debts. We did some of the numbers. And some of them were like $3 million worth of debt that we're dragging into the ArkNet, and that's just not feasible. There's been a massive change in price here. And the original contracts, the way we did it originally, it just doesn't work. It doesn't add up, but we're still going to be able to offer that value, which is fantastic. And we'll see the folks that want to get in. And another thing that I'd like to add to that too, to give the opportunity to the investors, the advisors, and the team. Everybody on the team is not going to have the opportunity to get into this at this price. We're going to sit back and really offer the folks here, pretty much the whole pool of that pre-seed. So we're doing it, I think, in a fantastic way. I'm proud of the decisions we've made. We've grown to care about all of you, spending so much time, working so hard together as a team, as a community. And I think this is a really positive direction that we don't want to leave behind. So yeah, thank you for that, Brett. And let's go ahead and take a look and break it down for them.
Yeah, we would have, like you said, I think you mentioned, running with one hand behind your back or something to that effect. We would have gone out of the gates and looked like, we weren't set up for bringing in very large quantities of money potentially from an entity. They would have looked at our liquidity ratios basically to the liabilities of the tokens that we were giving away essentially to ArkFi investors, and that would have killed deals out of the gate. So now we have a one that we're still pushing the limits on, but very acceptable, with an acceptable range that could pass the smell test, at least initially, for people reviewing the project and wanting to bring in capital, in large quantities. So yeah, you can go ahead and skip to the next slide, I think. Perfect.
There we go.
Yep. This is just the basics. So by depositing your ArkFi tokens, these are tokens that are in your wallet, into the pre-seed contract, then we're going to give you a value based on a table on the next slide. But actually, it's a couple slides ahead. But we're going to have the first 3 rounds of the pre-seed. Those values are fixed for the ArkFi token. The first round will be a $5 value. The second round will be a $3.50 value. And then the third round will be a $3 value. And the fourth round will be basically the market price. And as Atlas mentioned, we have over 130,000 available ArkFi tokens to be deposited. Those rounds have specific caps on how many ArkFi deposits can be made at those prices. And once we get all 130,000 tokens have been deposited, then the entire contract closes. But as we'll discuss, as you move through the rounds and we've satisfied the number of tokens that we're allowing to be deposited at those values or those prices, then those rounds will close and it will just automatically cycle to the next round. So that there's no interruption, there's no announcement or anything like that. It's just going to happen real time through the smart contracts. So if you have ArkFi in your wallet, then you'll be able to deposit it when the smart contract opens on Friday. So we're still holding to the May 26th date to have this available. We'll do an announcement just like we always do, and a banner and have the link and all of that stuff. And we actually have the link in the light paper now, but it doesn't go anywhere. It just goes to the homepage of the DApp. And we will also publish, when the contract goes live, we will publish the deposit cap per wallet. So to give as many people an opportunity as possible to get into the pre-seed round, we are going to cap the number of ArkFi tokens per wallet that you can deposit. But to prevent any kind of bot manipulation or bot attacks where, people are trying to send ARK to hundreds of different wallets and then, deposit the limits or anything like that, that's kind of funny, we're going to wait to release what those caps are until the contract goes live, so that everybody has a fair chance and no one can pre-program a bot to be able to do this or execute those deposits automatically for them to, basically snipe the pre-seed round.
That's really important because we've seen that happen so many times. And there are folks that do have quite a lot of ArkFi token, and we don't want this to be a whales game. We want every single investor who's been stacking their ARK to have their chance to catch every single level, so they could DCA into it and have their great positions. So taking that into consideration, very important, I think, function to not reveal that yet. And then when the folks are going to come in to deposit into the contract, there at that moment, it will say the actual amounts for each round. So we won't have, hopefully, that happen, because they could say, okay, I'll sacrifice 10% transfer tax, but hey, I'm getting a 5X. Like, this is a no-brainer. I'm going to go ahead and set up these wallets. I'm going to set up these bots. And we need to avoid that, to give everyone what we always do here, that even playing field, so everyone has opportunity, no matter how small or how large it might be. It has to be distributed correctly.
Perfect. Yep. And we'll go over this again, because in a couple slides there's the table that outlines each one of these rounds, so you'll know how many tokens are available at that, or to be deposited at that specific price. And then we'll talk about the overall cap. And then, so the advantages to participating in this, in that your ArkNet token private presale price is guaranteed, meaning that the price that we're honoring for the pre-seed round will also be the same one that we use for the private round. That's going to be a white list that'll have caps that won't, not everyone will be able to participate in that. And we understand that. So really by participating in this pre-seed round, if you do have ArkFi tokens, this will be your chance without any restrictions to be able to get in and have an opportunity at that price point. And I think we did publish it in the table, but it will be 20 cents if everything turns out properly in terms of the volume and all of the tokens are distributed. It will be a 20-cent token price. And then we're talking about doing a launch price of 50 cents. And we'll get into how that's a 500% increase in a second. I'll walk through that. We are going to be paying a premium, as I mentioned, on your ArkFi token. So for example, right now, the current market price is $2.50. We are going to be awarding a $5 ArkFi value for deposited tokens in the first round of the pre-seed. And then it will tier down $3.50, $3, and then market price. So this is a chance to get a much higher multiple on your ArkFi token than if you did go and sell it. This number 3 here, advantages. The market value of ArkFi deposits will increase up to 500% based on a higher 2.5x public launch price of the new ArkFi token. So basically, you're getting a 2x on the value of the deposits you're making when you get into the first round of the pre-seed at $5 per ArkFi. So that's a 2x there. And then the price will increase from 0.2 cent or 0.20 cents for the pre-seed value of the ArkNet token to 50 cents when we go to the public launch. And we'll have tiers for the different pre-sale rounds. So that's a 2x and then a 2.5x that you would be getting by participating in the pre-seed round versus waiting for the public launch. So we think that's a huge value. I think that not only will the pre-sales be potentially restricted because we are bringing in or looking at bringing in VCs and other financial institutions to invest in this project. So there may not be a lot of publicly available tokens. We don't know the answer on that yet, but this may be our one and only chance to get into, and not only at the lowest price, but even getting into the ArkNet opportunity before it goes public. So I think that's a huge value to people that understand what that might mean, that we are, flush, well-funded, and have a lot of backing in terms of networking and other projects that will be interested on the front end through these VC networks to utilize our privacy network once it's available. We don't have any deposits or sales tax on your ArkFi that you make a deposit with, so we're not charging the normal, 10% sales tax plus the, I believe it was 3%, so it's 13. I think it ends up being around just a little bit over 10% on the current sales tax. And there's no deposit fees or anything like that. So it's just bring your ArkFi tokens, deposit them into the pre-seed round contract, and the value that you're getting for each token doesn't get reduced by a tax or any kind of deposit fee. And once again, there's no whitelist spots are required to participate. So as long as you have the ArkFi token in your wallet, you're able to deposit it into the smart contract as long as there's deposit positions available or left in that pre-seed round, assuming that we haven't completely sold out, I'll say. Anything else you wanted to add to that, Atlas?
No, I think that's pretty clear, and I think that there's an advantage too of having institutional investors and just a whole different crowd than what we're used to in this space come in, as we don't want to really take too much, of creative pressure for the ROI DApp, for the vault. So, we'll figure out, we'll play it by ear. We'll see if maybe legacy NFT holders could get a small share. Everything's really in front of us to make the decisions. But there is a positive, I think, a rainbow there for sure.
Yep.
On to the next one.
Yep, sure. Yep.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. And this is going to end up being populated, but this is just the basics on the contract. The original contract address that we had obviously is going to change as Mr. Green's making adjustments to it. We discussed what it was before. Now it's moving into, I would say, a much simpler approach, but there is some tiering and limits and things that we need to program in, but it's not going to be too big of an adjustment for him. But then I'll put the contract number there on May 26th so that everybody can see it and has it. And once again, that's the DApp page that we're going to use the link to go to the DApp and interact with the pre-seed contract. And you will need the ArkFi token in your wallet, and it will be on the Binance Smart Chain. So you can go on to the next one.
And you'll need a vault account as well. That's another feature.
Oh, yeah.
It just can't be you stack it all in a wallet. You have to have an Ark Vault account. Again, the measures to control that people don't take advantage of these seed rounds, which is I think very, very important for us to explain to people, so people don't get caught like a deer to headlights, as we say here. You'll be clear in understanding. You have to have an Ark Vault account. We have 5,304 wallets in the system, so we need to give everyone as much of a chance as possible. So let's go ahead and move to the next one. Okay. And let me see, can I actually...
yeah, if you click on that, the table should come up.
There it is.
Cool. Yeah, it's a little delayed on our end, but yeah, we kind of went through this a little bit. I'll just walk through it again. So there will be a total of 4 rounds inside the pre-seed round. I might be able to call those something different just to make it less confusing. But those are the 4 different prices. So we'll have the first round will be at $5, and we'll have a total cap of 10,000 ArkFi that can get deposited at that $5 price. And then in round 2, we'll have 30,000 ArkFi that can get deposited at $3.50. And then in round 3, that's 50,000 at $3. And then the final round will be 40,000 ArkFi tokens at the market price. And that'll be, right now it's around 250. So we put that in there. And then the wallet cap.
Could I ask a quick question?
If it's quick.
So with the different rounds, let's say you have 1,000 tokens, and will the contract be smart enough to realize that if only 100 of those, can you just do one deposit transaction and the smart contract will figure out how the total deposit gets divvied into those different rounds if your timing is a little bit late? Will
No.
it just...
No.
So it won't
work that way. No, it has to be first come, first serve, and once it fills, it moves on to the second round, and the same for the third. So you have to be really on top of it if you want to be able to take advantage and get your positions in. Depending on how fast they fill, we're looking at also a daily cap amount. So we give enough people a chance. So let's say the second round or third round, in the 24 hours it didn't fill, then we move on to the next day, and then you'll have another opportunity to deposit. Again, everything in the fairness of giving everyone a chance. Maybe somebody's on a plane or vacation. We don't want to leave everyone behind. There's a lot of investors here at ARK, and they all deserve their own individual opportunity without getting pushed out of the game by those that are just too quick. I hope that.
So you basically would need to do 3 or 4 separate deposit transactions as those are filling up.
Maybe
Exactly.
more, depending on the speed of the days. Because if we just let it all happen, and we don't give enough for everybody to get in, we want to give them another day, and then maybe a third day. Really, the activity is going to dictate how it moves, but we're getting ahead of it to creating those controls to allow for people to really get in and seize the day.
Okay, thanks.
Great question, brother.
Thanks. Was that Brandon? Yeah, it was Brandon. Okay, and so as we walk to the right, it's going to get a little bit more detailed here. I mentioned the 20 cent ARKNet seed price. So that's the price per token that we're allowing for this pre-seed round, and that will be in terms of ARKNet tokens. So if you look at if you did bring in your ArkFi at the $5 price, we're basically doubling the market value based on the current price of ArkFi at $2.50. So that's a 2x right there. And then with the ARKNet seed price of 20 cents, we're then going to launch at 50 cents, which is another 2.5x. So that brings us to about a 500% increase in market value on that far right column for tokens that you deposit within the first round. So that's a huge bump. Obviously, we're going to have some vesting schedules and things like that, but we feel like that's a huge amount of value. And if you look at just to highlight the problem that we were discussing before about the value that we're bringing over. So we know we have 300K in liquidity that we've allocated to this quote unquote sale of ArkFi tokens. So we're not taking that liquidity and just dumping it into ARKNet. This transaction is a voluntary thing that people are saying, yes, I would like to essentially sell my ArkFi tokens for ARKNet tokens. And so we're using that liquidity so it doesn't disturb the price of the ArkFi token during this process. So it's very important. We've talked about how when other projects shift from or make available a secondary token, everybody dumps the primary token to buy up the new token. We want to avoid that completely. So that's why we separated the liquidity so that there's no impact on the price chart. That liquidity now is available for this transaction to happen outside of the ILC, outside of the liquidity on PancakeSwap. So there's no interference with what's going on with ArkFi in terms of price. We understand that by reducing the liquidity, there's a little more volatility in the price, but it's not dropping the price by half or anything like that. I think it's a very important thing to talk about just because it was misunderstood. A lot of people panicked about that. But what we really did was in the best interest of ArkFi to allow investors to utilize all those tokens that are in their wallet without dumping on the chart or hurting or impacting and draining the ILC in an event where they were trying to ape into a private sale or a pre-seed round like this by selling off their ArkFi tokens. So we're doing this in a way that will benefit ARKNet in some way. Obviously, we'll only have $300,000 going into ARKNet, but we have a value of over $1 million that is a liability that's being carried over to ARKNet. We feel very confident that that's an acceptable number, won't impact the performance of ARKNet or the attractiveness of ARKNet to other investors or institutions, even if we went the VC route. But that's that gap that we have to cross. And that gap of the ARKNet launch value in the original model was somewhere around $3 million, which would have been completely unacceptable, would have sabotaged the ARKNet opportunity before it even got off the ground. So I just wanted to highlight that. And Atlas, go ahead.
Yeah, and at a price of $571, how we had billed it before, and you could compound, that would have worked out pretty well. But understanding where price is at right now, that system is not going to work. It's definitely going to create a chaotic and I think unattractive tokenomic for the ARKNet. So we have to be mindful and we have to do things right. I mean, we're taking here a 700K liability pretty much, and we feel comfortable we can do that. And I think it's our way of giving back to our community and saying, hey, look, we're going to redeem your tokens, at 5, at 350, at 3, and then market. So you're getting that value, but at the same time, we're not seeing that happen on the chart as people go ahead and sell off and creating a further panic. So it's a very smooth over-the-counter way. Obviously, we are not in a position to give people, hey, here, give me your ArkFi token. Here's $5 for each one into their wallet and hope that they're going to do the right thing and not just leave with the money. So the contract set up to take away that trustless part and make sure that we are able to bring those tokens back into the ARK vault, which is really a virtual burn. It is taking pressure off, of the future of the vault, of, any minting, at least for a very, very long time, until we have massive, massive growth happening here. So I love the plan. I think it's very simple. It's in line with the vision and what we want to do for ArkFi investors, and taking into consideration everything that's happened in this past week. It's really been a bit of a difficult situation, I think, for all investors, the team, and understanding that we are not able to hold something at 571 where it just isn't there. Liquidity has to be provided. There has to be a fair value. And even at the fair value, I think it would actually hurt the chart if we offered this at this current price. We're at $2.49. If the liquidity would still be in there, that 300K, I think we would be looking into a very heinous debacle that would unfold here, which is exactly what we don't want to do. So in a way, looking back, how everything's played out, the decisions we've made, I think it's a perfect resolution, value to the investors, getting ArkNet launch, which we need for all of the other products that we're building through ArkFi, and not disturbing, I think, the current stability that we're experiencing, which is looking quite great.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just say this verbally. We haven't put this in writing yet, so please don't hold us to this. But we're looking at a total supply of around 50 million tokens, and that would put the ArkFi pre-seed investors at about a 4% equity position in that total supply, just to give you an idea. So it's a significant amount. It's not 1% or less of the total supply. It's a chunk. And to that effect, we can still operate with this, the minimal 300K being basically purchasing that 4%. Just to put that in perspective, I think that gives it a little light as to what the market cap might look like, and what we're really positioning for in terms of a raise and in terms of total supply and market cap down the road.
Yeah, and to clarify why it's not in writing, because we're still working out the tokenomics and the projections and who's going to come on board and how we're going to structure everything. I also like to say this price of 20 cents with the model of a 50-cent launch, it might be different. It might be a 1 cent and a 5 cent. It all depends how we clamp down. This is just a financial model that shows you how everything fits together and how the structure will be for the pre-seed investors, regardless of if the supply is 100 million, 50 or less. That's going to stay written in stone. It's just that the actual number might be a variable that as we develop, we'll have to make some changes.
Absolutely. Good points, Atlas. I think you can probably click off that, and then we'll talk about the process flow, how this is all going to work together. There it is. So, essentially, you come over to the DApp page, connect your wallet, and then you deposit your ArkFi tokens. But then we talked about how the schedule is going to have these 3 fixed price rounds, and then a 4th round that's going to be variable based on the market price at that current moment in time. We don't know when that will be. Depends on how fast the other rounds sort of sell out. The contract will automatically adjust the price of the ArkFi tokens being deposited once the ArkFi cap is reached for each round. So, for example, once there's 10,000 tokens deposited at the $5 price, we'll then move on to the second round, and so on and so forth. Let's see. The wallet limits. We go into the wallet caps, which we haven't published yet for the reasons we talked about to prevent botting. Once the total ARK cap is released or is reached, the 130,000 tokens, no additional deposits can be made. Basically, the contract will stop and it will be terminated. If we don't reach that 130K of deposits, we can go ahead and terminate or close down the pre-seed round, essentially. Once that happens, we'll total up your account balance, and at the end of the pre-seed round, that will be essentially swapped. The value of those deposits that were made at those prices will be swapped for the privacy token, which at that point won't be a real token until the launch. So, and then the note at the bottom there, we do have, we'll get into this a little bit, but we have an innovative vesting schedule. We haven't come up with a slick name for it yet. So that's what it's called. But we're going to do it in a way that will benefit longer term holders of the ArkNet token versus people that want to dump out quickly. But we'll go through that in a little bit more detail in a later page.
All right, here we go.
And then the benefits, we've kind of gone through these quite a bit. I guess the overall message is that we're going to be paying a premium for the ArkFi token based on the current market price, the $5, the $3.50, and the $3. Obviously, that's significantly higher than what the ArkFi token is right now. And there's no sales tax, there's no deposit fees or anything like that. So that's something to be taken into consideration. If you do have ArkFi wallet sitting in your wallet, if you did go ahead and sell that, you know what the impact would be, what the profit level would be for you. And everybody's in a different situation where they have to use their ArkFi to, pay bills or something like that. It's totally understandable. This is ArkFi that is being, separated or taken. Maybe if you've already ROI, that's a little bit easier, but there's people that just got into the protocol. They're looking to ROI. We understand that not everybody's going to participate, but we do offer this at the private presale price of that 20 cents. As Atlas mentioned, those ratios might change, but overall, that will equate to a $500 or 500% value increase from the current market price of ArkFi to the public launch price of ArkNet. And then we did discuss the deflationary mechanism, which is these ArkFi that are deposited into the pre-seed contract will end up being put into the tax vault and a virtual burn essentially, and help the vault balance stay healthy, and will reduce the sell pressure off the ILC. So we should see some positive benefits on the price chart, as well as liquidity, as well as the ILC gaining strength throughout this process.
Yeah, we've already seen it. I mean, folks are definitely stacking ARK, which is fantastic. All right.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is going to be
schedule.
A bit of time. This is going to be tough to explain. So what we wanted to do was create a way to benefit the strong hands, the diamond handers in the bunch. And so I'll maybe you can scroll down just a little bit. This table probably doesn't mean a whole lot, but essentially what we're going to do is we're going to distribute the pre-seed tokens in a series of monthly releases. And so every month, based on the percentage that's in the table, that number of tokens will be taken from the total pre-seed pool. So the total pre-seed pool was just a little over 2 million tokens if every round of the pre-seed was satisfied. And we had that 130,000 ArkFi tokens deposited. That would equate to 2,025,000 ArkNet tokens. So every month, a percentage will be released into a distribution pool. If you were an investor that said, well, I love the price, or I need the money, you could go ahead and cash out a portion of your ownership, or basically claim your portion of the distribution pool. And it would be the portion of that distribution pool based on how many tokens have been released in that month. So if it was the first month, it would be the least amount of tokens. But let's say that you owned 1% of the total pool. So you were a whale and you really aped into the pre-seed contract and you owned 1% of the distribution pool at that point. You could go ahead and take half. So you say, okay, well, I'm going to take, half of 1% of my, and claim those tokens out of that distribution pool, but you'd be only getting that 0.5% of what was available in that first month, what had already been released. And so the idea here is that the people that hold on the longest will have more tokens available, and they'll get paid a higher number of tokens in month 18 versus month 1. The other really cool mechanism that happens if somebody exits the pool, and let's say they used a 0.5%, they had a 0.5% ownership in the distribution pool, and they said, I'm going to use all of it. And their 0.5% gets claimed out of the distribution pool, so those tokens get removed from what's available. But then that 0.5% gets distributed to all the other investors that are remaining in the pool. So they now get an increase in the ownership of the available rewards in the distribution pool. And as that increase and grows and people start to exit the system more and more and more, the ones that are remaining are gobbling up ownership percentage in the overall distribution pool. So it's we don't know what to call this model, but it's amazing. Basically what it is, it's you're reducing the number of investors and increasing your percent ownership over time as people exit the pools. And so there's a multiplying and really a parabolic effect that starts to happen in terms of the amount of tokens that you're not only getting rewarded by staying in, but then also the percentage that you have access to increases over time. But there's no set schedule for you as an individual. You could take out one ArkNet token per day if that was your strategy. You could slice up your percent ownership however you would like. So you could take a small percentage, for example, every month for 18 months. You could take it all at once and get out month 1. Say, hey, I'm satisfied, or, oh, I need the money, so I need to take out my tokens. But that's going to be a decision made by every single investor. And so you can see here, month 1 will release 7% of the total, the 2,025,000. That'll go into the total released pool, and those will be available for distribution. And if a percentage of those are claimed, then those are removed from the available distribution. And then the percentage that those investors of their ownership used to claim would then get distributed back across the investors that didn't claim. So it really rewards people to hang on. And I think Atlas mentioned an example, or someone from Pulse Chain that, hung around long enough to see everything get built out and serious price action come. And because they had locked it in a long-term manner, they were able to benefit from those rewards. So we want to reward people that are going to stay through that development cycle and allow the network to really mature and the use case and the utility for the token increase as more applications are being built and the network and the infrastructure grows. Those people are going to be able to see not only price appreciation, but then also less competition for tokens in the distribution pool from the pre-seed contract. So it should have a multiplying effect in terms of price, but then also the amount of tokens that you're going to be able to get rewarded if you stay in the pool longer. I'm sure there'll be some questions.
Yeah, we'll get to those later. All right.
Okay. So I think I went through all of those bullets there and described it. When you do claim those wallets out, obviously we'll have a DEX and then also ultimately a centralized exchange that you could swap those out for your favorite cryptos. So that's something else to keep in mind. Those are all in the plan, in the roadmap.
Happy days. All right, do we go to the next one, timeline?
Sure. Yeah. I think we can end it there. Just to reiterate. We could probably go. The roadmap is just basically the high level things that we need to get done before we get to launch, so we can cover that one maybe too. But the timeline, once again, May 26th, this Friday, we're going to open this up and the pre-seed round will start. Obviously, we'll put announcements out to make sure everybody's well informed, notifications in the D app so everybody knows. I think that worked pretty well for that owner's announcement or the founder's announcement that we did last week. And once again, once the ARK cap is reached, the 130,000 tokens is closed off. If we don't meet that, we can close down the contract. But it will be for sure closed before the private presale round begins. So we do have, ultimately a stop there. And then we talk a little bit about depending on the timing, the duration of the token presales, we're going to launch the ArkNet token on BSC, and then we would migrate it over to Polygon zkEVM as development starts. And we have a testnet there, and we're able to start up on mainnet, which is in beta right now. I haven't checked today, but I believe it's still technically in beta. And then there's some more detail you can read through on the ArkNet token, a little bit about the inflationary, deflationary mechanisms I mentioned, and the privacy network and sort of the overall strategy for that. These are the use cases. Probably the kind of the guts of this is, we're going to use this. This is the sole utility token for ArkNet. And so that'll be used for paying for all of the applications that are used. It will be staked to become a node provider. So that's going to lock up even more token supply. And then also we're going to pay the node providers for bandwidth and storage. So basically they'll have a cost that we need to cover with the ArkNet tokens. So they'll be acquiring additional tokens. And then also we'll use it potentially for network governance, and making decisions about the protocol and where we head and all those kind of things. Let's see, the vesting schedule we went through. Oh, at the bottom, that's probably something to talk about. The inflationary and deflationary mechanisms. We don't have this all sorted out yet, but the idea here being that we want to instigate network growth. And so we could potentially have some inflationary mechanisms that allow the minting of tokens for direct distribution to node providers to incentivize them to maintain and grow the network. But then a deflationary mechanism on the sort of the corollary to that, or the offset to that inflation, would be as the applications grow and the use cases grow for the token, we know that those applications, the service that they provide, will be paid for with the ArkNet token, and a portion of that would be burned. So as the usage of the network increases, then the burn rate of the token would also increase. So we think there's a nice, yin and yang relationship to work out there. We don't have all the math done yet, but it makes a lot of sense to have both an inflationary mechanism so that we don't stalemate the network. One thing that Polygon ran into, I don't know if people have seen this concern, but they're running out of their distribution supply that they use to pay for their validators. And we don't want to end up in a situation where the network can't grow simply because we don't have any tokens to provide the network providers. But then on the opposite side of that, we want to make sure that the price appreciates when there's a lot of activity on the network, and that ArkNet tokens being used to pay for and consume all of these resources and the infrastructure that's being provided. So, so that there's a nice balance between that inflationary and deflationary mechanisms. We can get the price appreciation and not dilute the network at the same time.
Absolutely. We don't want to make those mistakes. And, we're really proud of what we put together here. We've met with some brilliant minds who have come on and advised us, as this is something that we have to make all the right decisions today. If you want to predict the future, you need to create it, and you need to make sure that it's in line with your end goal, right? What we're trying to accomplish here, what we're going to spend so much of our time and life building. And we're very satisfied. We like the simplicity of it. The first system, when we were at 571, was more complex. So I think this will definitely be something that folks will be able to digest and participate in a much simpler fashion. We know Jashawn made a great video. We showed it yesterday. Shout out Jashawn, man. This guy's amazing. Put a lot of time, a lot of work into it. But we didn't have it all figured out. We worked throughout the whole weekend. Many meetings, different opinions, and and really finding the right solution so that we could move forward and make it an absolute success. We've always said it. We're not here to waste our time. We're here to build. We're here to grow. And we think big. We work in a very efficient, sacrifice manner. I still haven't met a top person, a top producer, a top team that does not, give it all. If you're not working 60, 80 hours weeks, and I don't think in any business, I don't think you could really break on through. So I think we've proven that here, and we've shown you our vision, where we're going, and it's going to come down to the individual investor, how they want to participate. We've laid it out, and we'll let everyone make their decisions. I think there's some folks that have dropped to 0.5, and they've shown their hands. They're going to keep playing their way. Fantastic. Good for them. We know there's a lot of people here that have spent time, have analyzed this team, have analyzed what we've done so far, what's coming down the pipeline, and they definitely want to seize this opportunity. And looking at the amount of ARK in wallets, it's very clear that the community really is with us and wants to be a part. So let's play it out, and we have a couple of days for everyone to have their chance to digest, to go over it, to ask questions. You guys know the deal. We're here every day. We're going to open it up here in a little bit, unless there's anything else you wanted to add, Brett.
There was something. I just got distracted for a second. I just wanted to throw out there that this light paper is really the beginning. This is going to eventually evolve into a pitch deck as we go into a pre-sale round. And if we're involved with, venture capitalists and other people like that, we're going to have a lot more meat around this, and, beautiful graphics and everything that you guys have kind of seen from us when we do, for example, the roadmap presentation. We're going to put this into probably one or two different forms and really put some more meat on the bone. So I know there'll be some questions and some things come up. Some things we can't commit to yet. We don't want to put in writing, obviously, because that can get us, paint us into a corner that we don't, necessarily want to make changes along the way, or at least limit them as much as possible. We don't like surprises, and I know you guys don't either. So I think we always make decisions that are to benefit the investors. I think people have seen with our track record that we tend to do that. For example, we were on the hairy edge of not even being able to give the sort of that 500% market value increase in the system that we have now with the pre-seed round. But we were able to kind of stretch into that to kind of honor that commitment. So I would just like people to keep an open mind and know that this is going to get much more developed. We had to make a lot of rapid changes in the last week or so because of the price depreciation for the ArkFi token, changed the complete structure of this whole light paper. So we spent hours not only just discussing it, but then also kind of putting it back into words in the right way. But I promise this will get a lot prettier and a lot more detailed as we go. And that's part of being in a pre-seed round. A pre-seed round, you're not going to get all the information. And if you are getting a lot more information, it may not be 100% accurate. So just keep that in mind. But you are getting it at the best possible price, also with a premium paid on your ArkFi token. So I think that's the real value that we're bringing to the table here by putting this forward now, and then knowing that we're going to be developing and continuing to put much more information forward on what ArkNet is, the tokenomics and things like that. And we'll definitely have to have the tokenomics in a full-fledged white paper available as we go forward with the pre-sales and moving up towards the launch of the token.
Yeah, we'll have a lot more team members, and I actually want to bring up Z here to the stage to get his feedback and opinions. How many pre-seed rounds and private rounds have you been in, Z, throughout your years here into DeFi? I think I've lost count.
I think I've lost count as well. This might be my 120th up till now. So it's been pretty hectic for me.
You've been behind the scenes in the sausage room, what we like to call it, and with the experts, and also contributing. And I'd like to just get your opinion. There's some pretty interesting alpha here, and and something new with that whole distribution, which hasn't been done, that we think is going to catch a lot of eyes and attention on that secondary opportunity and game theory that comes into distribution of those tokens.
Oh yeah. So I've been on, you can say this is like my third sausage room basically. I've been on the Velis chain sausage room, and I was able to design on Wagyu Swap, which is another sort of DEX on a big mainnet. So it's a really exciting time because everything like every mainnet sort of takes a bit from one and sort of makes it their own. And that's what some of these mainnets do. They take a bit of Solana, some you can say Ethereum sort of concepts, and then they build an ecosystem around that and really start to welcome the nodes and welcome folks like Chainlink and the Graph and these sort of oracles. So it's a really exciting time, but for the community here, it is a big learning curve. And what we found when I was like working on sort of the team with Velis Chain was no one knew what an airdrop was back then. This was like 3 years ago. So when Velis was getting built, the team wished that they had a community that was educated, and that's the advantage we have here, where folks here have had I think 3 to 4 years at sort of DeFi level experience, and then at the same time with here, like with that ARK, like we've learned a little bit about you could say utility, and we've educated a bunch of people. I think up till now, maybe 500 plus people that came from sort of you can call them degen, sort of meme coin projects and these sort of dApps, and they learned something at ARK, and so I think our community is at a good place, and then that's the reason why like I push the airdrop sort of roles, because it's really important that our community is educated about how to use test nets, what is token distribution, and how ecosystem sort of tokens work, and fortunately by the time we launch, our community will be I think we have 100 people under airdrop. I think after this we're going to have many more join and learn about mainnets. So it's a wonderful time, and I'm sure the crowd here can't wait to bring utility to the ARK, because I've been on projects before, but the community here has, especially our daily sort of calls, really shows people's interest, insights. I get like I'm not the best Telegram user, but I do have to use it because I get a ton of DMs from here about people asking about speculation, but then they ask about utility. And this is the first time in a couple of months I can finally openly talk about these things, because Alice, you know what you do to me and Green. We keep us quiet, man, about a bunch of things. But that's the nature of it, and yeah,
we can't let the alpha get out. We have to protect that IP and the relationships behind the scenes and who's involved, and everything has to be, I think, revealed exactly at the right time. So
yeah.
Great to see your excitement and you know the potential here for you know the growth. Zero knowledge. We are going all in on zero knowledge, and that's what we want to build on. There's I think nothing, at least for me and a lot of this team, as to what we want to develop. So this is really the heart and soul of the whole mechanism, and then through ArkFi developing the products, decentralized VPN, the storage, password management, seeing that revenue come back here to the legacy NFT holders, again to the crown jewel, and also to support the ILC as we embark and we learn to succeed in the global market of folks that are facing inflation, understanding there's really not a lot of trust with their banking institutions. They're concerned over the dollar. They're concerned over the debt ceiling. Guys, we're facing probably one of the hardest times in financial history, and I don't think we've really as a overall community really understood what's ahead. And I don't want to fear monger, but I do see big shifts and big changes and there's going to be transfer of wealth, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on the legal side. We're seeing it happening with banking, crypto. We talked about the Super Bowl, the last one. No ads were allowed for cryptocurrency. So I think to survive in a space, you're going to have to find utility. You're going to have to build. You're going to have to be on the right side legally, in a space where you're not out there in a position where you can get caught like a deer in the headlights. Have your project and your token paired with a stable coin. We know that there's a lot happening behind the scenes, and it's all coming forward. And the narrative, we don't even question it. We already know. So we're not surprised when we see these things change. The ARkG token is going to be a massive component to all this as well. But it has to be a step at a time, a piece at a time, and then bringing everything here together where the ecosystem functions and it's massively strong. And I think that's where the big, adoption massively happens for everything. There's a ton of customers out there that we understand just on the institutional level. It's not, going to the neighbor and, hey, listen, do you want to use this, decentralized storage facility using zero knowledge? This is big time. This is pressures that we're seeing happening from legal liability standpoint, security, and I'm pretty sure that we're not going to have really a boring day in our future as we're focusing on the privacy. I know, Brett, we were talking about that earlier today. Do you want to expand a little bit on that? It was quite powerful, that conversation, and how we see this vision.
Yeah, I just think that privacy has been one of the big things that hasn't been completely addressed. I would say there's a huge opportunity in the market space. We know the banks are working on payment systems and cross-border payments, and you've got your XRP, your XLM, you've got JP Morgan, you've got all of these giant institutions that want to maintain that legacy banking system. And they all, from a decentralized standpoint, they all would like to participate as well in the privacy side of things. So privacy, I think, is going to be a frontier that gets a lot of attention going forward, as well as one of the frontiers for blockchain technology that hasn't been as crowded, especially from a layer 2 standpoint. So applying ZK and building out an infrastructure that will be the rails and everything that people can plug into their applications, as well as their, expanding their cloud storage, for example, or utilizing bandwidth in a decentralized manner. That's something that's going to just continue to grow. It's going to be utility. It's going to be an ongoing growth path for infrastructure that satisfies those needs. So yeah, to me, it's a much less risky space, because the decentralization is in fact the most effective way to be secure and private. So decentralization has to play a role in true privacy.
We're going to see some crazy things happen for sure. Give me a second, Nato. I mean, just last night I was thinking, and I'm trying to understand and decipher the revenue model at YouTube as an example. They have, they did their 4K streams. They're now even having 2500 DPI. They make you pay for that because the bandwidth that they have to serve those streams with is quite high. So imagine a world in the future where they could work out a deal, not only through they already have their advertising revenue, but saying, hey, we're going to let you come into the paid model, but not by paying, but by actually serving in your location. Utilizing their decentralized user base bandwidth to be able to go ahead and serve up. That's just something that came to me yesterday. I was like, wow. I mean, this is something bigger than I think we could imagine. And I think they're sitting on a gold mine if they could really capitalize on it and adding more of a decentralized format there. where they're sitting at these data centers, with these huge connections, a lot of energy and electricity. And I think we're going to see a lot of tightening in companies as we go forward. The baby boomers are pulling their funds off of the stock market because if they lose their shirt, they won't be able to work and buy a new one. So I think a lot of capital is going to be drying up for the near future, and companies are going to look for ways to clamp down and save. So just something I actually hadn't shared here with anyone because it was something I was thinking about last night. And just so because we're so into what we're doing here, we're going to be able to identify opportunities and look at businesses that are not taking advantage of something that's sitting right in their hands from a technology standpoint, an opportunity standpoint, and cost savings, of course, which is always attractive to big corporations. I believe that Nato, you wanted to say something. Sorry to interrupt you there.
Yeah. No. Everything is good. It's just you talked a lot about a lot of things, actually a huge amount of things, and I had some questions earlier, but thank you, Brett, for the overview of the light paper and what's to come, and also I'll ask to maybe at you as well, Atlas. But basically, I want to clarify on the how to participate, and then some general things. On the how to participate section of the light, are you there, Brett?
Yes, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, okay, great. So basically, I just want to, just taking an example, if I throw in 100 ARK, you'll have 250 the current market value. That'll give you at the round one cap, you'll have $500 worth of value that will be applied at 20 cents per token of ARKnet, and then that'll get you a launch price of 50 cents. So that's how you 5x your value. That's how I'm understanding this. So you're actually doubling your
Correct. Yep.
Yeah,
Got it.
you're doubling your tokens. Excuse me. You're doubling your tokens, but you're 2.5xing your value to getting the 5x. Correct?
That's exactly right.
Okay, and then you're getting half that because the final round, which is at 250. So these rounds 1 through 4
Nato,
represent all.
I need to correct you on that. It's not 250. That's just a placeholder. When we came to the stream today, it's 250 for the price. So that's going to be market price. Just to be clear, you see that right there in parentheses, market price. So whatever the price of ARK in this fourth round, that's the value you're going to get.
Oh yeah, okay, sure. Assuming it's flat, yeah, fine. Okay, so then these rounds, which represents 130 ARK capped. Excuse me. Yeah, 130. That's what you're capping out for all the rounds, to honor the value redemption basically. Then that represents the pre-seed round of everything. And that will come to 2.025 million ARK tokens, which is about 4% of the whole supply that you're planning, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And then that'll be on a vesting. And so that's how we get the math. Okay, now I want to ask you, so I want to switch to the investment. So this is fantastic, phenomenal. And I actually thought earlier to mention that you would definitely, you need some infrastructure and some serious capital to be able to deploy all these huge, lofty utilities, right? And so that's why it's not surprising you would seek VC funding, especially if they express interest in earlier conversations. So I was curious, how much are you looking to raise for the ARKnet?
At a minimum, we're looking for 2.5 million for launch. So that'll be our low cap for that.
But I'm talking from VC side, like not through pre-seed is only for vault holders, so I don't count them as
right. Through our private rounds, we want to have a at least 2.5 million. We could sit here and speculate what we think we can get, but that's not how we operate, right? We have to go a step at a time and understand the market and go out there and get the relationships and see how we can also offer to investors more opportunities here.
Okay, and those are so excuse me if I'm a little bit gray, but foggy, but the private rounds, these are rounds directly with VCs or institutional, and not the private, the pre-sale rounds that we're doing after the pre-seed, right?
It's a combination of investors, VCs, institutions. We're going to go out and see what we can catch and how we're able to really convert that here into investors. So according to the interest and what we're seeing, that's why we're not putting everything in stone and writing, because according to the subscription and the demand and what we're able to work out, we will work with the tokenomics for ArkNet.
Okay,
this here it stays in stone. This opportunity, we lock that in, we carry this over into ArkNet.
You mentioned, Alice, the minimum of 2.5. So how much would you want for investors?
Again, I don't want to say, I don't want to put high expectations out there. I think we have to be responsible and say this is the minimum, what we would love to attain. I mean, we can all speculate, but we don't want to do that.
You know best from all the expressed interest. So, but what I'm curious on is because, well, first of all, are they US? Is it one VC or multiple, and is it US based or is it international?
We don't want to go into details, NATO. Not going to happen. I know you got a very inquisitive mind, but all these things and NDAs are in place, and you need to understand that that's something that you don't talk about.
Names, no problem. You please push back as feel free. I'm just curious if it's U.S. based because the climate isn't ripe for that. I mean, good for this. I don't know. Okay. And then also, I will also say, since we're talking and we have a good audience, that this was different. I'm based on the numbers. It appears as though at a 50-cent launch price, it's 25 million market cap at launch. So if I'm correct, which means that is that right? 50 cents, right? And you said approximately 50 M token supply.
That's correct. That's what we have. Drawn out loosely, right now on the board. Yeah.
Loosely, not solid yet, but that's fine. So that's why I was curious, because before when we spoke, you were very adamant about not having any outside investors because of them directing control, well, taking control, of course, which is majority of the cases. It's without a revenue generating product, growing, serious market traction, and great track record, all that good stuff. But basically, having them take over the vision. So is that something that changed now based on the need for infrastructure? What was this is just general question.
We were referring more to the products, the decentralized VPN and the storage facilities, and understanding that there's opportunity here. We have external investment from legacy. So, where we don't have to really, create those partnerships, we won't. Obviously, we want to bring that revenue back to our investors. There's still a lot of NFTs available. So we feel we have a great opportunity with that crowd. But ArkNet it's a much different and bigger monster that, we can play that game. And we can manage those expectations and those commitments according to how we structure the supply. That's why part of that the distribution that you're seeing there, that model, it's really interesting. They're not getting the tokens right into their accounts and just vesting. So we're being very creative in finding ways to be able to do business without really giving up control. In the end, we will have the majority control of really everything.
So it depends on how much the investors take. So if they take you offer a greater share, then they're going to have control if it's over a certain amount, right? But it depends on the market cap and the value and the cap table. But that's on you. So do you have a term sheet, or is it something that do you have a term sheet from investors, or are you just talking?
You asked too many questions, NATO.
No.
We're keeping this very quiet.
General. Okay.
Yeah, I understand, but you want details, and I'm not going to give you details.
No, I don't.
I'm explaining to you,
know who the investors
and I don't want to bring the focus. So we have a euphoria here of VCs where these are things that take their time. We're still working out tokenomics. We're having conversations, but remember, there's a lot of stuff happening here. We have the on-ramp. Every day gets busier, and I don't want to, spin a narrative of, oh my God, this thing, there's so much interest, because, we believe that you have to be responsible and bringing expectations to a boil, and people getting into that whole sort of mindset. We don't need to sensationalize. I don't know if I'm using the right word. I think we just have to work in the way we always do, NATO. We create the things, we create the relationships, and then we just bring the product out. We're focusing here on the pre-seed. This is a great opportunity for the investors here. And I don't want to waste time. I think there's a lot of people that have a lot of questions regarding how this actually works, but I do appreciate your interest. Yeah.
Excuse me. I know what you're doing. I know what you're regarding the question. That's fine. I'm not going to ask on that, but regarding to the pre-seed relevancy, okay? Are we going to be having the KYC in the future if we're representing the 4% of ownership in the pre-seed round for the future ArkNet entities or entity?
As of right now, no. We're not following that model. We're staying very decentralized and following more of a DAO format. So that's not something that's on the table.
Okay, and by the way, this is all phenomenal news and great things, and no one's saying holding you to anything. Just want to know, because this is great for enthusiasm for wanting to participate even more. So I think it's all related to the pre-seed round. Absolutely,
I know.
It's highly relevant, actually. But don't share.
You got the FOMO. You got the FOMO.
You're not comfortable. That's fine. I'm very comfortable. If you don't want to share, that's fine.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of opportunities on the table. There's launch pads too that we want to work with. Look, we understand that at the end of the day that going into these big developments, if we expect the degen crowd to fill the coffers and to make this go to where it needs to go, we're not I think thinking correctly. We have to cater to the crowd that this is their cup of tea. This is the appetite for investment that they're really looking for. And, with that comes growing the team and bringing professionals to the table that can come and execute and bring their relationships to the table. So, it's going to be a really fun, interesting time. As you can see, we have not just one or two or three things going. We have several projects under development. We don't want to waste a single day. We don't want to wait to see if, project one is going to, be the huge success. We want to have many horses in the race, yes. And we want to give every single one of them the best opportunity. And it's all about just making the choices every single day, the correct choices today, the right relationships today, and not speculating too much over the future. It's a day at a time. And, I'm very excited for the opportunity and everything we're doing.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Nita, I just want to say one more thing. I touched on it a little bit in the beginning, just the separation, at least mentally, between ArkFi and ArkNet. ArkFi is still very much, the roadmap is in place. The legacy NFT fund is in place, and that's what we're using to execute all these applications. So from a business model standpoint, ArkFi is very B2C, very much addressing the needs of individual investors. This ArkNet, a much different business model, which is why the pivot a little bit towards the VC potential. I'm not taking that off the table. If we could satisfy these rounds privately with individuals, that would be one thing. But there's also a complete ecosystem of business and enterprise that's being done through those VC channels. So I think you understand that there's, as a B2B business, there is some benefit from a marketing standpoint, as well as a sales generation and immediate customer generation standpoint to going in through institutional investment channels. So that's what we're looking at. And the difference being that ArkFi, it's going to stand on its own. Atlas and I are still going to do our AMAs. We're still going to push the sale of the legacy NFT. We're still going to do all of the things that we talked about from a front end perspective for the vault. None of that has changed. And that's why we're bringing in this parallel team. So Atlas and I are obviously involved. Z's involved. He's on the ArkNet team as well. But we're going to bring in another group with different skill sets and different networks and relationships to bring into ArkNet. And we're if we set a goal, for example, of $2.5 million, if that's our raise goal, and we see that there's not an interest from the community that we have for utility like this and for an opportunity like this, absolutely we're going to hit that goal of 2.5 or exceed it by bringing in people that we know are interested and have a huge appetite, as you mentioned. Especially in the U.S., there's money sitting and waiting on the sidelines for projects like this, and the word privacy is resonating very, very well with those institutions. So I think we have the right market fit, right time, right capital environment for this type of investment, but we're not taking the complete 100%. Let's do it decentralized. Let's completely do it with private individuals off the table. But we are looking at potentially augmenting that. And also, institutional money can work in different ways in these. For example, if we need liquidity for a centralized exchange, there's potentially OTC opportunity. There's a lot of different ways to cut that, and I don't want to go into the detail on that, but there's other ways that you can use that type of funding to satisfy different aspects of the project and not just, buying tokens in a pre-sale, for example. So
yeah, well, thank you so much for that. It's great that you don't feel that VCs could take over control, because you're confident there's ways to avoid that and be smart about what you give away, because ultimately that can dictate your whole vision and control you completely, which would be opposite of our mission to be decentralized and all that. So that's good. Yeah. I wonder though, will ArkNet be US regulated?
We don't know. We don't know yet. I think we're gonna, have those decisions, unfold over the next 2 to 3 months as we get towards a launch date. And we don't even know when that is. But first steps are going to be tokenomics. What's the use of funds? How much do we need? And then do we feel like or believe that the private funding of that pre-sale rounds leading up to the launch, and if we can build enough momentum and everything else, then we'll start to make those decisions, about if we have an entity, where's the entity? What kind of transparency do we need in order to be able to operate with those venture capitalists, and all those decisions, would be very much on the table at that point. But I don't think we can answer that right now.
Yeah, and then ArkG, there's no relationship to ArkNet.
No relation. Yeah, no relation. So ArkG is specific to ArkFi, and that's why I wanted to have that. There's clear delineation between the two projects, so that people don't get confused. ArkG, the Ark Vault Foundation, legacy NFTs, DVPN, privacy solutions, crypto banking, the on and off ramps, all of that is ArkFi. That's all B2C. It's all within the same umbrella. It's all going to be presented, marketed under the current ArkFi project. So ArkNet, because it's a completely different business model, can be considered as a standalone system if you want to. But ArkFi will be building applications on top of ArkNet. So ArkFi will be ArkNet's best customer at the end of the day. But it's going to be open so that we're creating APIs and white labels through ArkNet to attract other projects like ArkFi and other developers, as well as other layer ones and people that need those products and services, and utilize the ArkNet infrastructure.
Excuse me, Brett. You said the crypto banking. What else for ArkFi? Because I thought ArkNet was having everything else.
No. ArkNet is just infrastructure. So it's just a privacy network. So it's compute, store, and bandwidth. That's it. So the applications that are being built on top of ArkNet are all owned and controlled by ArkFi. That's all the legacy NFT stuff, everything, all the revenue generation, and that is going to flow back through ArkFi.
Okay, and ArkFi,
so do you know like NodeReal? It's no. Web3 infrastructure. Okay, I'm just throwing that business model out there, in one to potentially look at to get an idea. It's a strictly B2B type relationship. It has open infrastructure. There's, here's what our cloud server requirements look like. Here's the infrastructure. Here's the APIs. Here's white label products if you'd like to plug into those or sell or offer those to your through your business channels. That's the model. It's not It's not a B2C play with a mobile app and, hey, come put money into the vault, come put money into or buy a DVPN or anything like that. They're not selling those services. The service that ArkNet sells is the infrastructure services. So it's the server level services that they sell. So it's a SaaS model.
Okay. So like, for example, they want to decentralize their storage, and you would B2B play. A B2B service would be to ArkNet clients. The institutional or not or private would fund this, and then you would serve that for service products, services specifically for on the privacy network, like you said, storage, bandwidth, computing, and then ArkFi would retain all banking, crypto banking, and all the ArkG as well, related to ArkFi. And am I missing something?
Now, everything in the roadmap is ArkFi. Yep.
Decentralized VPN is ArkFi.
Yep.
On the network of ArkNet.
Right. And ArkFi would pay ArkNet in ArkNet tokens for utilizing the infrastructure to run the DVPN application on top of ArkNet.
Bullish.
Yeah, it's a unique situation where we already have we will already have utility products, applications available and running on top of ArkNet. So it'll be a instant use case and sort of a first mover advantage for ArkFi, but also establish a customer base on top of ArkNet without having to go outside and get people that may not be ready to put on their applications on a new network. So we'll already have basically a test bed of products and revenue generation for ArkNet running through ArkFi.
So ArkFi, excuse me, I'll water down maybe, but ArkFi is like the customer, like the premier customer for ArkNet, like the first main customer, right?
Yeah, that's one way to look at it, unless we pick up others along the way. But yeah, I mean, I see ArkFi being the first to have an application running on ArkNet.
Okay, so and then like ArkNet will have a separate like website entity, all that it will all be just separate because it's B2B infrastructure versus the products that ArkFi does.
You got it. World. Yeah, so like our Telegram channels, Discord, all these things will have people that are trained to understand what the needs of businesses or other projects are that are coming there. They'll understand, how to present the white label information of the APIs and how to hook into our network, how to start up a node. All those things are completely different than what ArkFi does. You can imagine if another project came to the ArkFi Telegram and say, hey, I'm looking to build an application on top of ArkNet, and it would just be crickets, It's a completely different skill set, a whole different environment, and it's a different community at the end of the day. It's a community of developers.
And so you mentioned parallel team, so then that would be like a separate team for ArkNet, and you guys would continue to do everything you're doing now and host. Obviously, your time would be thinned out, but you would still be doing what you're doing with the ArkFi, and obviously the banking is a huge deal. It's just a very big roadmap, so you would continue with that as ArkFi track, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll be sharing hats a little bit in the interim, but our goal is to bring in and develop up people that can run ArkNet. Okay, so we'll hang on to it. Obviously, we're the ones that are going to hang on to it through the funding rounds and things. But the level of expertise might dictate different people. I might not be able to support ArkNet as well as ArkFi, for example. I don't know yet, but there may be a role for me there. I'm not sure. So.
Okay. Great. Thank you for clarifying this. I think it's helpful for everybody to appreciate too the distinction and how you're breaking them down and their role. So just to be very clear, how you do it and what you raise is It's on your guys' side and what you want to do privately. But the place I was coming from is to be aware that it's not like being taken over, by institutions, kind of that theme, because that happens, then they change the whole direction. But as long as ArkFi is separate and private like that, and sticking in the DeFi, not getting corporatized, that's great, because that's where the banking needs to be, private, and not under control, because it would defeat the purpose, I feel.
Absolutely. You're spot on there. And we're very aware of that concern. I mean, that's one of my biggest concerns is getting involved with that level of money comes with strings attached, and we may not want that to transpire, but there is different ways for them to participate without interfering with the operation or the decision making, and affect the essentially be part of a board of directors or something like that. There's ways to structure it without that. So yeah, that's the way we're planning to move forward. But if there's money that wants to participate, and we see different opportunities for that money to be utilized outside of private funding, then we'll consider it, as long as it doesn't impact the spirit of the project.
So just a side thing, Brett. This raise that's being done with the pre-seed, it almost appears as though, it could be off, but like this is not even needed, because if you can get funding of significant, like literally 10 times or 20 times this amount with it few places, that would be much better use of time. But you're basically you're offering this as an opportunity for participants in ArkFi, because we're early, and whoever basically build up their vaults, etc., and want to do it and want to join, right? Am I like, you don't really per se need it, right?
Well,
because you can get much more funding.
Well, it doesn't hurt to have 300K potentially coming over to the project either. I think you understand that investors, even large private investors, they don't want to be alone. They don't want to be the first. If you told me you want a pre-seed round of 300K, they would say, well, I'll put in 50, but I want to bring 5 of my buddies in, So to have the support of the community, and a win-win really for both the investor and for ArkFi, I think it's a great opportunity, and I think it's a unique opportunity, and also one that will benefit ArkNet as well. I think there's something to be said about having 300K in cash sitting there, and not being the first to the table, even if you're a small guy or a larger institution.
That would be you would have okay, so that's true. Oh shoot, I was gonna ask. Oh shoot, I forgot one thing. Hold on.
Nita, let's give somebody else a chance.
It's fine. I'm just, but what I'm asking, I'm pretty sure people want to hear this too.
We know, but let's see if there's anyone before we continue that has some questions, because there's 63 participants, minds and investors. Let's see if there's anybody that would like to ask some questions.
Yep, I've got a couple. Round
Hey, Mark.
Hey,
yes, sir.
Yeah, round 3, ARK price $3. What if the price of ARK at the time is $3.40? The market price. What happens then?
We think this is going to go pretty quick, Mark. So, we know right now there's, as of a couple hours ago, 128,000 ArkFi tokens in wallets sitting. And this is a very attractive proposition. So, I don't see. I mean, we're looking here Friday. I mean, if we get a big rush in of investors, I don't think the next 3 days we'll have the on-ramp out there yet, and the virtual card and the other stuff. But yeah, I'm not sure what we would do in that instance.
Yeah, because then round 3 wouldn't fill up, because everyone would be waiting for round 4.
Yes, but we do have levers in place that we're able to change this according to how everything plays out. But from our directive right now, we understand that folks are holding and they want to get in as fast as possible. Unfortunately, there's not more that we can give away. We wish we could do more. We tried all the models to give more, and it just doesn't work. But great question. I do appreciate that.
Okay, and the second question is, will there be something added to the DAP for us to get into the pre-seed?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. It'd be very, very simple. Just deposit pretty much your tokens inside. It'll tell you what the daily cap is for entry, and tax-free. You'll deposit it, and you're good to go.
Okay, and do you want to send that to me so I can just test it out to make sure it's working okay?
Yes, we're going to obviously show here before we get to Friday. I think we'll do a live presentation. Obviously, we won't show the cap. We're trying to avoid the sniper bots. But we would like to create something that we could record and post here and also in Discord so that everybody knows how to interact with the contract. We had people, if you remember, in our private sales that were kind of sitting on the side and thinking they had a week, because that's what we planned for, a week, and within 2 minutes it sold out and folks were crying on the sidelines. So we changed it to give more people a opportunity in the second round. So we have the levers in place that if we need to adjust this, we'll be able to do so to see the demand. I mean, we're anticipating that there's going to be a lot of folks that are going to be a bit sad that they weren't able to move fast enough to get it and get in. But there's always room that it won't fill up.
I think it'll fill up.
We think so too. Absolutely. It's a no-brainer. Right, Coach Brad? He does it best.
That is a no-brainer, sir.
Yeah. What other questions do you have, Mark?
No, that was it. I was wondering if you were going to send the new DAP to me so I can test it out before it actually goes live. I'll put some in just to make sure it's working.
You're always 10 steps ahead, Mark. That's for sure. Deidre, welcome on board, my friend. How are you? I'd love to hear from you.
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you guys for all the information today. It's an exciting opportunity. I'll keep this. I like NATO, have a zillion questions, but I'll focus on the pre-seed right now. Am I understanding then the idea of BUSD yield and a compounding feature has kind of been replaced by a new concept? Is that right?
That's correct. A much simpler system.
Okay.
Yeah.
And thank you. And the other question was sort of on the slower side of the pre-seed round. If it happens to last for days, for people who have been redepositing their ARK or selling their ARK, but would like to get in, don't have a lot in their wallets. In each round of the pre-seed, are multiple deposits possible?
There's going to be limits per day. So to give everybody else a chance. So if you filled your quota for that day, then you have to wait for the next day for you to be able to, come and participate.
Okay, right. That makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's a very fair way. Thank you for your questions, and thank you for all your support, man. I know you've been flying the flag of the ARK, brother. You've been an absolute leader in this community, and always sticking up for the ARK and educating, which is what it's all about. And through that education, so many more people have come in. We see Stephen Greeley. Did you have a question, sir?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to talk really quickly about. I've been listening. I'm a noob. I've only got like 50. What do you call it? ARK that'll transfer the new thing. I've only been going for about 4 months, but loving it. I think you may. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, and you talk about the marketing about people that like DeFi. I think I've got a solution for you guys to ramp this up to go absolutely bananas, and that is, I think you guys, for as far as the marketing goes for ARK, you should market that Forex trading This is the 97% of people that actually do Forex trading lose all their money, right? Retailers,
Correct.
Retail clients lose all their money, right? So I think you guys should position yourselves as this is the answer against Forex, FX trading and a whole lot of other stuff like that. But if you did that, I think the actual news coverage and everything you will get from fighting against FX trading, because it's a massive category, would be epic. And you know, people, mums and dad investors, if they're making 1%, 2% a day, and it's, you know, it's a lot safer than trying to figure out whether our gold's going up or down for the day. I think you're gonna get so many millions and millions of mums and dads investors by pitching it against that, on top of the massive media coverage that you'll actually get for someone's actually going to take on the FX.
Right. Well, we have a concept like that, Stephen, but not against them, but actually working with them. And I'm going to explain to you what I mean by that. And I've always believed that success comes from, you know, relationships and not enemies. That's how I've got to where I am, by creating those relationships instead of fighting with people. One of the concepts here that we have that we've rolled out in these presentations that are going to be happening on Zoom is to bring in investors from the real world, but we want to target educators. A lot of these folks on YouTube that teach trading and they have courses, they understand the pressure that a lot of these new folks come into it. They're going to lose all their money a couple of times. If you don't blow a couple of accounts, you're not trading. It just comes with the psychology. Brandon here, you know, Drip Guide, he was an educator on YouTube. He understands the mentality. It's taken him years, 6-7 years. He's at a point now where he's profitable, but he's had to learn through the process. So we even had a private meeting with one of the biggest trading schools over in Colombia that Rafael Soto brought to us, because we are thinking of a concept here saying, hey, listen, why don't we take the pressure off of your students by giving them, you know, the ROI, the vault that's creating that return on their initial investment every day. So it takes the edge off of them trying to get that, you know, huge trade and catch all the pips or do 100x, because a lot of these folks don't have a lot of starting capital. And if they do, they're going to lose it anyway. So it psychologically can alleviate a lot of that pressure to be successful, to win every trade, and get greedy and make the mistakes. So we feel that that's a, you know, great opportunity for the educators, the owners of those trading schools, because through the system that we have here, you know, with the syndicate, they're able to get that 5% deposit of any of their students that come and join. And they're able to also create an extra revenue, and I think be a good person and say, hey guys, take it slow. Let's go for the slow, steady returns where you're taking the emotions and yourself out of it while you sharpen your skills to be one day, hopefully, $1 million trader. So that's something that's been in progress. As I said, we already had one great meeting.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, that's cool. Cool.
There's a huge market out there. There's some of these YouTubers have, you know, 30, 40, 50,000. I don't want to name some names, but there's a couple of them that bring courses. Go ahead, Brandon.
I was just going to add, it's not only has it taken years of my life to finally get consistently profitable, but it's been multiple blown out accounts. And after the gentleman made his suggestion, I was thinking, man, if over the course of 5 or 6 years, instead of funding another account and another trading account and another trading account, you know, each time, if I had just put even just half of that money into, let's say, Bitcoin, or you know, if ArkFi had existed, put it into something like ArkFi, holy crap, you know, I could have lost half the amount of money that I lost over the years learning how to day trade, and I would have a humongous bag, totally paying all of my bills 10 times over by now, you know. So I do like that idea a lot.
Yeah, there's several ways to develop that, but I like the concept here, Stephen, of working with these trading academies, these educators, and offering them, an entry into DeFi where they benefit and they can, I think, not ruin their business. We don't want to fight with anyone. I think we want to work with them. It's going to take some education from our side and showing them, how this all works. But we've already, been, I think, very fortunate to have that first contact, that first relationship. And I think there's going to be folks here that are going to see that as an opportunity and maybe take some of their time on weekends if they're fully employed, or in evenings, and start reaching out to these YouTubers, to these educators, to these academies and courses and say, hey, look, why don't you look at this and see the potential for you to earn? Because one of the big revenue streams that I think a lot of people that are in the trading business understand is that the educators, they use the referral system at the trading exchanges, right, to get a really, really nice return. It's leading folks into the slaughter because they generally know that they're going to get wrecked and lose all their money, but they're getting a commission paid by the broker for every transaction for the deposits that are happening. So this could, I think, in just a way of karma, say, hey, listen, I'm still going to earn. This is a business, but I'm giving my students a stable, non-stressful way of having some income come in as they get better. I hope you like that.
That's great. That's great.
Yes, sir. But a brilliant idea. Absolutely. There's a huge market out there. So many people could use ARK in their life. Who else would like to ask a question?
I wouldn't mind asking one.
Go ahead, Mr. Rooster.
Hey, Atlas. So after our pre-sale is over, hey girls, would you keep it down? I got a question here. Stop. After the pre-sale's over, private sale, before we full out launch ArkNet, are we going to be able to have the chance to go ahead and buy the ArkNet token at 20 cents or whatever it may be, and kind of get some of them stacked up as well?
We're still deciding. Well, ideally, in thinking of fairness, we would probably want to have the legacy NFT holders have the next shot at it, right? They've invested into the long-term future of ARK. They are a partner in everything that ARK is developing. They're funding the ARK team to develop. So ideally, that would be, I think, a great way to give back to them and bring them on board the ArkNet project. So yeah, we would look and we don't want to say it's going to be one way or another. We have to wait to see how things play out. And according to how much demand we have, there's going to be some launch pads that we're probably going to do some relationships with. And there's a lot of opportunities on the table. But ideally, I think you know us by now, Rooster. You've been with me for a very long time. And we always want to give the ARK investor first opportunity. And this is the spirit of what's happening right now. So if we can do it again and offer them an opportunity, I can tell you that it will very, very, very most likely not be at that price. It'll be higher.
Well, that's fine. I'm just thinking the opportunity to kind of help give for myself, and I'm sure I know there's others of us that absolutely love this thing and everything you're doing. You just want to be able to give back and give extra. I know it's not not going to be making a profit like a pre-sale, private sale, or any of that, but just to help out and really get the ball rolling and get it off the ground, just at a baseline price.
Yes, sir.
Just to help out. That's all I'm getting at.
Thank you, brother. Great to hear from you. Shout out to the family and to the Sasquatch. You guys are great. You guys are great.
Thanks, man.
Does he say, let's get this crypto a lot?
Well, yeah, I'll have to get him in here. But let's get this crypto, man.
Let's go, brother. Great to hear from you.
Yep.
Who else would like to ask a question? We'd love to hear from you.
Hey, Alex, I got a quick question.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
With the pre-seed, am I understanding it that, let's say, for example, I had 100 tokens to put in. If I put those 100 tokens in, it's basically a set and forget, and that I don't need to worry about what my allocation is for that day, that the system will automatically allocate however many I'm entitled to, or do I have to try to figure it all out myself?
Well, you're going to be able to invest according to what the limit is per wallet for that day. So you'll have your opportunity. If it's over 100, then that's what you'll be able to get. If it's lower, then you'll have a remainder. And you'll be able to see that before making a transaction, what you qualify and eligible for that particular day and that particular round. But once you make the purchase, it is, yes, set it and forget it. You don't have to worry about it until you get all of the tokens in that you want. After that, you're all set. You're all done.
Awesome. Okay, because that's good to know that it'll tell me how many I'm actually allowed to put in there per day.
Correct.
And that way, it's I don't have to try to figure it out myself. Awesome. Thanks for that.
Great question. Thank you, sir. Who's next?
Hey, Atlas, this is Kryptonite. Can you hear me at all?
Yes, we hear you great. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. I had a really simple question because I'm fairly new to the ArkFi ecosystem. So it looks like I'm just in time for the ArkNet raise, but I'm obviously still thinking about ArkFi, given that it's, something I've only been in less than 30 days. How do you see those two projects kind of interacting after the seed raise? Would you expect investors in ArkFi to redeem ArkFi tokens and then use those to invest in ArkNet to maximize yield and maybe utilize the utility benefits associated with ArkNet?
Great question. Brett, you want to come in and help us with that one?
1 minute. I'm just tied up for a second. Hold on.
Okay, I'll go ahead. I'll handle it. Well, look, ideally, that's one of the reasons that we have separated and segregated that 300K after the drop. We don't want to see further downside onto the price because of this new opportunity, and I think that's part two. While we're trying to diversify who can come in and when they can come into ArkNet, we don't want to put any more undue pressure. We have family, friends in ArkFi. Our goal here is, at a minimum to stabilize price, but ideally to work our way back up. That's what I would like to see play out. At the same time, we want folks to have some exposure. It is not paying that yield every day that we're so used to, and I think that the ROI DAP in your and they're going to provide a lot more upside in the short term. The ArkNet is more of the future thinking, being a part of that infrastructure that the other applications are going to be built on. So I think it's good to have something in there, but not make it to a point where it'll put too much undue pressure into ArkFi. Does that help you understand? Because that is a concern. And that's a concern we had before when we were at 571. So we created, this contract that wouldn't put a ton of pressure and that you would invest into slowly week 1, week 2, week 3. We understand there's several throttles and we want to give that opportunity, but we also want to keep everything here as calm, cool, and collected and stable as possible. It's interesting how everything kind of worked out with the drop in price. And having to pivot and adjust to find a solution. I think it was a very smart move for the team to segregate that 300,000. So we wouldn't have that rush and create more panic and fear, which is unfortunate because everything was going so well here at ARK until the PTSD and everything from investors and other protocols, I think got the best of them. And they bought into that that emotional state, and, history repeats. And it's almost, true when people become paralyzed, when people, buy into that fear and their courage, their faith, their hope, their belief, and I think their overall great mental state is attacked. They go into that panic mode, and it's been very unfortunate. And we're also working on some ideas and ways to see how we can optimize the foundation, if at all, because we are understanding that it's great to have a liquid in and out of your BUSD, earning that APR, especially as we go to countries where, banking is not very trusted. Places like Argentina, you're looking at Africa. We also understand that there's 1.4 billion people that are unbanked in the world, that they could look at the foundation as their high yield savings account, the vault as their high payout, but you have to earn it more through time, and it's not liquid. You cannot hit a panic button, take all your money out of the vault. So these are things that, we have a lot of great minds, great investors who've stepped in and said, hey, guys, look at it this way, look at the other. So as we progress, I think we're going to look for opportunities to optimize things and ideally make the stability of our range, as bulletproof as possible going forward.
Appreciate that. And can I ask one other quick follow-up as well?
Yes, sir, of course.
So in my experience in the DeFi space with ROI dApps, there is tremendous momentum from inception for maybe, if you're lucky, 6 to 12 months. And then there's this hopium around future utility. And I believe everyone bakes that into their plan. And I think the miss is the timing associated with that. So obviously everyone wants you to work as quickly as possible, but I actually peel the onion back a little bit, Atlas, and say to myself, I think what I'm noticing a lot of developers in DeFi is missing is the relationships and the networks that you guys were talking about earlier. Like, as a professional, typically, if you work within a traditional setting, you're surrounded by other professionals. So you have people within your circle of influence to maybe help you accelerate a process or a product. And what I'm noticing is there's a lot of new protocols that are coming up and trying to create these relationships. And what happens is you tend to lose momentum for the next shiny object. So I kind of piece together that you guys are high-level professionals. It sounds like you have existing relationships with certain people who can help you scale, but I really want to hear that kind of loud and clear from you and your team. Like, do you guys have the relationships today to maintain the momentum, or is it something that you have to work to build towards over the next 6 to 12 months?
Are you referring primarily to the vault, to the ROI dApp?
No, more specifically to like ArkNet, right? Because that would be the next evolution.
ArkNet, we do, absolutely. There's no question and doubt about it. The ROI dApp, going back to what you're saying of its longevity and the lack of external revenue, is what we've really been understanding even before we launched the project. So we've had our plan, but we had to execute it. We have to build it, and it has to be done correctly. So, I think the key difference it's going to be here at ARK is that you're going to have the on and off ramps that are bringing that revenue in. You're going to have the IBAN banking products. You're going to have the decentralized VPN. That's where we're creating all these businesses around the ArkFi ecosystem. Having the legacy NFTs be the partnership part of the whole protocol, and then having the ROI dApp be that system for folks that are looking to hedge against the inflation. One of the key components here, why we build a mobile application. Have you seen the mobile application, Kryptonite, or used it?
Yeah, I've actually seen it. I have not used it, but I've seen it.
Yeah. So we believe that is the game changer as far as recruiting and growing the ROI dApp system. We understand that so many folks, they all have pretty much a mobile device, getting into your computer, MetaMask, Web3, and that whole lesson. If you've ever taught, and I'm sure you probably have, like most of us here, a friend or a family member or neighbor, how to get into DeFi. It's a complex journey, especially when you get into the part of the fiat to the crypto. So we've zeroed in where the issues are and how we can make it mainstream, quick, and frictionless. That's why our onboarding ramp doesn't have KYC up to $2,000, and we're having a virtual card, we're having a banking card. We're turning more into a fintech project where you would have your bank account and your crypto and DeFi wallet and investments connected all together. And we believe that's a product, once it's all plugged in, could be a solution for a lot of folks. 1.4 billion people around the world that are unbanked adults with mobile devices. So we know our crowd are not just the DeFi degens. I think we had a great start, and we've developed a community that's very strong, that are, we could say now, experts in ARK, and they're able to explain, and that's why we've created these Zoom presentations where we have these leaders come and make the presentation and then book an appointment if they want to have someone hold their hand, like Coach Brad, who likes to wear what we call the white gloves, the 4-star, resort sort of treatment. He's fantastic at it. Coach Mistletoe as well. So we're going to be hiring and expanding, because that's the way we want to grow. It's going to be different than I think that we've seen other ROI projects do it. And at the same time, we also understand that once you're able to tap effectively through the mobile application into these folks, we're going to see a growth that we haven't seen before, supported by the revenues of the other businesses that we're bringing here to the table. It takes this time. And, like anything else, I mean, we see the buy the dip opportunity now really fantastic as we get the new audience, because that's really what I think ARK needs, and where other projects, I think, fell short. We've always said, if we're going to expect to be here for longer than a year and sustain the project just based on these investors, we're crazy. It's just not going to work. You have to do things in a different way. You have to attract a different type of investor. And there's a lot of people out there that an opportunity like ArkFi could be life-changing with a small amount of money through time. It's just engaging them and doing it in a way that's comfortable for them. The mobile application is it. That there is no doubt in our minds.
I like that. That's a really good product differentiation. So that's right on. I appreciate it. And thanks for replying to my questions as well. It's
a pleasure to meet you, sir. And I do. You said you're here only 30 days, so you got in before the drop. You haven't ROI'd yet, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. There's some folks that came in around that time and a bit further who we're extremely concerned about. Go ahead.
Kryptonite is the dude that runs a really cool Twitter Spaces, and he's the guy. Remember on April 5th when YouTube terminated my Drip Guide channel, Kryptonite's
I'll never forget.
Space was where
I'll never forget the day.
The dude that interviewed me, really well-spoken guy. Hey, Kryptonite.
That's why. Okay, it all makes sense now. I actually wrote to you on Twitter.
Yeah, we went back
and I said I would love to talk to you about ARK and show you what's different and what we're doing here. What an honor to have you here in our community. I didn't recognize you.
No worries, my friend. Yeah, glad to be a part of the family. Right on.
Yeah, exactly.
So who converted you? I'm curious. Who converted you to ARK?
It was
huge.
Actually Crypto Fergie and the conversation I had with Brandon. So those two people I trust and respect their opinion, and just private conversations about their experience and just help educate me on the process and the benefits associated with it. And then the final piece was obviously kind of listening to some podcasts and privates and really getting a good feel for the community and the leaders within the group. And I just decided to bite the bullet and invest the money. And it's been a good experience so far.
That's ultimately what did it for me as well. Having the phone call with Atlas and Brett, and then listening in to the podcast just once or twice, and I was convinced that this is a solid team. I felt like I can trust them, and I love the tokenomics and everything else. So great to have you on board the ARK, Rojas.
Right on, Brandon. Appreciate you guys.
Fantastic. And I think you understand, one second, Nato, through this process where our aim here, and I could pull it up, I think you've been paying attention, we want to take these 130,000 ARK tokens out. I mean, not out, they're going to go into the ARK vault, and it's a virtual burn there. But to alleviate the pressure, so as we go out there with the mobile application, the on and off ramps, and start to get that new audience and communicate with them, have different languages for those Zoom streams, tap into the network marketers and other folks that maybe they don't want to take the time to learn how ARK operates, but they want the commissions, they want to be a part of the syndicate, they want to earn. Having them use their link to send folks through that marketing funnel of those Zoom presentations, we believe is going to be different. It's going to be something very interesting. We'll take the sell pressure off so we can start going back up on the chart with heavy buy pressure. So, we're putting all the levers and trying to make it also attractive for the investors to come into the ARKnet. So creativity and really finding a way, and maybe at some point we could have a private conversation and see if we can get you involved, because I've definitely become a fan of, I don't recognize your voice, but what you're doing over there is quite amazing. Definitely a very smart investor that is about education. So maybe we can get involved with you in that manner. Brandon's all in, he's doing presentations, and it's a good way to get involved with these people and spread the message. I still haven't met someone as passionate about getting folks out of the fiat system than our very own Brandon the Drift Guide. And I mean, he just fit right into this.
Brandon and I
into this
project.
project.
Our conversation, and we had to pump the brakes because we probably would have gone for another hour. It was enjoyable. Yeah. Well,
Well, most of our podcasts at the beginning were 3-4 hours, and he'd come in here and spend time with us. But he fit right in, and it's almost like that family environment. And we're going through a tough time, but I've learned in life that tough times don't last. It's tough people who make it through, and we don't give up, and we keep going. But it's not through talk and hype and fake promises. It's by actually delivering and plugging everything in and uniting our forces. There's so many folks, so many testimonials of people that came in and did so well, and we know that they're relieved. They've gotten their ROI and then some. But we have a gap of people that came in the past couple of weeks who are not enjoying that fantastic dynamic range we were sitting at. And the system was so balanced. So very sad to see opportunity for those that are seeking, the DCA. And we're here every single day and hope to see you some more. Thank you for your questions.
Yeah, we'll be in touch, Aslan. Definitely. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wow, man, that just made my day. This guy's an absolute superstar. I had no idea who I was talking to. Thank you, Brandon, for enlightening me. And Nato, I'm sorry I didn't let you speak. I wanted to finish my commentary here with Crypto Night. Go right ahead.
No problem. You're the captain. Your rules, your ship, your house. So, and I like the quotes you shared too. Not the tough time, it's tough people. That's a great line. Okay, I was just curious, Kryptonite, since you jumped in right before it dropped, and you obviously you feel very warm, you feel very bullish. I'm curious what you did as a result of that. Did you go in harder? Are you weathering the storm? And how do you feel about the future? Like you're very upbeat, and it's really appreciated. It's just you got to be genuine about how you really feel, and I'd like to hear that because you're a leader in this space.
That's really good. So for me, it's pretty simple, and it's just the way that I approach my life in general. I saw it as an opportunity. So like most people, I got into ARK right around the 571, 72 price. And my plan was to do a 50-50 because I've learned the hard way that hyper compounding isn't a very smart strategy. It's a very fast way to lose money. And in order for it to feel real, you actually have to cash out and convert it into fiat or spend the money so that you actually believe in the investment. So no longer hyper compounding. So my strategy was a 50-50. And then you fast forward to something like ArkNet, and the transition between ArkFi and ArkNet, we've had, some bad actors that potentially did some things to damage the product and maybe confidence in the community. I saw it as an opportunity to buy more ARK. So I doubled my position over the weekend.
Now you need the cheer sign.
I literally doubled my position. And part of it, and this is going to sound cliche, but it's not, just based on my experience in the space. What I've really been looking for, which I haven't identified just yet, is a very solid team of professionals, people that speak my language, multiple voices. And here's what I mean by that. In most cases, when you have a team, a development team, you typically hear from maybe one or two voices and just it, but they consider themselves a team. If it's only one person, it's a solo sport. If it's two people, it's a partnership. When it's plus three, you now have a team. And what I like about the podcast and all the other mediums of choice like YouTube, there's a collection of individuals that you actually hear from, and they all seem to be experts in their field of choice. So it seems like you've got the best people working in the best areas of the business because it's their expertise. And you don't see that a lot. Right. So for me, that's important because I'm realizing one individual doesn't have all the answers. It's a collection of great minds that really build great products and communities. So for me, just having these types of conversations, listening to the podcast and the insurmountable number of people that create these YouTube videos and talk favorably about ArkFi, I just realized that it wasn't going to go away. So double down for those reasons. So that's what I did.
Wow. Atlas, get kryptonite on the board or something like that. This guy's a storyteller, a brilliant.
I'm telling you,
I could tell.
He's a legend. He's a legend. I wrote to him when I heard his interview, and I was like, we got to get this guy. We have to have a conversation. And I've been following him through time and just been impressed because we've had the right people show up at the right time. The story of ARK is a narrative that we've always said if we could write a better story, it wouldn't be almost real. But we've put our intentions. We're doing the work here as a community. We've seen folks that have never done a YouTube video or written a Medium article in their life be inspired by others, be inspired by Catalyst from Cryptozoa, be inspired by Brandon, and get out of the comfort zone, do something different, tell their story, their perspective. And through the all aboard sessions, we developed a way to promote them because they're promoting the project, their journey. And there's no better testimonial than your own experience. It's not hype. Hey, somebody paid me to do this video. Folks are tired of that. We played that game. We hired the James Peltons, and we realized how ineffective and just burning money that was for the project. There were stories of real people here who became a part of this community, a part of this family. And the environment has been always very professional, empathetic. And that's why we come here. That's why we do this every day. And it's just been nothing but smiles and calm, cool, and collected. We have all these great mottos that are true. They transcend, I think, the heart and soul of why we came together as a team to build this, and being the answer to the bear. And the testimonials that we've received from people is really the amazing payout. And when we've been able to identify leaders and have them come to our community, some of them have chosen us. We didn't choose them, but they've come on board, and we've seen their star rising. One of the recent ones is Clover. I don't know if you know who Clover is, but he's been around the space forever. Back in the cash flow days. From BT's Tron product. So, they're coming little by little, And it's great to see. And yeah, you made my day, man, for sure, to see you here in this house. And anything we could do to support you, to support your channel. We never speak bad about any other project. We believe that DeFi is the answer for a lot of folks here, and education and understanding. Invest small. Don't get a big mortgage to come in and ape in. Be a small, responsible investor. Grow in the system. Look long term, and pay yourself every single day. Pay yourself. That's something that we've been about. I've gone blue in the face of telling people pay yourselves. So now we built it into the contracts, and that's how the game is played. So thank you, and let's see if we go ahead, Mr. Kryptonite.
No, I just wanted to say thanks again for your time.
Let's go. So bullish, man. So bullish. Really, really fantastic. Who else would like to ask a question? I know we've gave a lot of information, a lot of alpha, a lot of decisions to be made. And the great part here is that every investor gets an opportunity to decide for themselves. Nobody's hands have been tied. Taxes haven't been increased and limits on sales. And that's not what we are about. That's not what we do. We've seen it happen. We've seen developers betray their communities by taking care of themselves and putting everyone into a very bad position. So we like the spirit of it. And if you have any questions, folks, this is the time. Do we have Bizy Dips? I know he was here earlier. It is early over there. He might have gone out for his days. I do not see Mr. Bizy Dips. But Donatello, Florida Realtor, Jashawn. I know, Jashawn, you've put a lot of work into the initial plan before the price went down. Do you have any questions or comments? It's very important for us that everyone is clear into what we're offering.
I guess I could have a quick comment. I think it's much simpler, like you phrased it. It means that once you guys release the time, I'm probably going to have to put an alarm on and step outside at work and make sure I get into it immediately. Because I think we have a real possibility of this either going in 10 minutes or, depending on the limit, at least the first part holding up a little bit. So to me, I think it's still bullish. I'm still stacking.
Gone in 60 seconds.
Agree with everything everybody just said.
Yes.
I have a random, unrelated question.
Go ahead, brother.
I brought this up in the DAO, but now that we have, the privacy network coming and ArkNet coming, we talked a little bit about some of the FUD with MetaMask. And then in line with the mobile app. And I know you said before you don't want to get into the custody business, but what about the self-custody and offering a privacy-centric solution to people? Because I think that would take the app to the next step, because really I think the only holdback that people are still having with the app is messing with, SafePal or Wallet Connect or MetaMask. So in line with the privacy theme and the recent FUD, I'm just wondering if there would be any consideration to integrating like a privacy-centric wallet solution or something that we could offer on ArkNet.
Yeah, well, look, as of our plans so far, we've definitely not wanted to engage into the idea of wallets and custody, to do it the right way. And the first project I worked on was actually a privacy wallet. The issue there, you really need to build everything out, and you have to go through extensive rounds of auditing that take a lot of time. Your code has to be open source, and you need to really develop it. And with so much going on, we haven't wanted to diversify our focus and the roadmap and everything that we have to build to get that mobile application out there in people's hands, make it seamless and easy on-ramp, easy off-ramps, that we've shied away from it. And because you're putting yourself into, I think, a very difficult situation if you kind of want to cut corners and you want to offer a product, even though it might be as secure as you can make it. And we do have amazing experts here when it comes to security. Mr. Jan is I mean, he was the head of IT for the country of Holland. So we have the capabilities. It's a matter of the man resources to do it the right way, the time it would take, the focus it would take away from our development. But on the other side of that, because there's always two sides, to it, we would have a massive amount of folks that would come into ARK, understanding that they could just grab their Bitcoin, that they've been saving up in a wallet, just send it in, and even making it simpler to the point where you don't even have to compound or look at your gauges, and just have like a ARK for Dummies version that is just giving you the payout with the packages. We have some packages that we created, and actually just last week I was contacted by an investor, and this investor's into a lot of these projects that are similar to that. There even isn't a wallet per user. It's a pool. You put your money into the pool and the pool pays you out. There's always that fear that that's not really DeFi, and I'm sure Brandon could give us a whole speech about why not. But it is something to consider. But I think need to be honest as to understanding our capabilities and our resources at the moment. It won't be something that we would tackle immediately.
Yeah, no worries. I appreciate the response. It's just food for thought, and I didn't mean to derail the talk on the pre-seed because I can't wait for it.
No, this is a great question. This is a phenomenal question in my view, because this is what I was asking before about custody. But I almost kind of surprised by the part of the answer. Capabilities and resources aside, you wouldn't be able to support the bandwidth because you worried there would be too many clients wanting to board, or because of the less friction barrier to entry as a result?
No. I mean the resources here on the team and the development work that we have. That's really what I mean. Okay. We have a stockpile. We have to revamp the application. We would have to create another way of people just being able to deposit, and the contracts.
Do it.
One step at a time.
We need 10 times more, and not delay. This is going to drive you 10x and 100x to the number of users right away. Do it.
Right. I understand, but right now, we have to complete the cycle and get everything working and plugged in that we have already built. And we're at that stage that's happening. So we can't abandon the roadmap and what's happening right now, the ARKG token, the moving over, staying true to DeFi, but we can see that there could be a point where we could expand or grow the team on the development side, or delegate parts to our guys and our designers to create. Yeah.
Captain, I hear you, but you go to a fine, good restaurant and it has it's done well because it has few entrees, few items on the menu, prepared by the chef himself, not a broad range. So however you decided the vision, clearly you have a lot of products and utilities, but do you agree that maybe for the sake of adoption and dominating with, say, ArkFi, and then reducing the barrier to entry of boarding literally 10, 20, even 100 times the number of people, having 500,000 vaults would be beneficial and supersede the value upfront versus doing other utilities you plan on the roadmap? That's what the gentleman is asking too. That's a great idea. 100% custody. But if you can do it, but will you agree that maybe would have been potentially a better priority?
We set ourselves into the position to have the mobile application and have the on and off ramps first. And as I said, we're coming to the completion and delivery of that. And then as we deliver that, and we have our DApp also, which is stacking up our whole new design front end that matches the branding that you see in the mobile application, then we can open up to doing something like that. At this point, we have to finish. It's half. Well, I don't want to say half baked. It's 90% baked. We have those packages that Brent designed. So adding a layer, and actually we did discuss this months ago, because we have had this on our docket, and Jan has a way to build that in. We were even talking about that with Crypto King. So I don't want to say no. I'm saying that this immediate moment we have to complete what is already under development and so close. But that could be a move that we do to increase the whole mass adoption and really be able to go bonkers. Yeah, I'm not saying no. I'm just saying. Yeah, I don't want to tell you, yes, we're going to do it. Let's make this happen.
I'm not telling you to say yes. I'm saying to say don't say I never want to do or but sure, listen. Captain, you're the captain, number one, the architect, the visionary, creating. You're the number one dude, dog, okay? But I bet you, I vote right now, everybody wants that now because I know other people and they want to board on, but look, what you're doing is you can't clone 50 Brads to be on a calls with everybody to help board them and overcome that barrier. Imagine having that just immediate product where they just send the asset and they're in for dumb, like you said, ArkFi for dummies. That's beautiful. You put a vote right now in your DAO you put a vote, they're going to voat for this. Everybody here's going to vote for this.
The growth is there. There's no doubt about it. There's one project, and I'm not going to say the name, but I know your brain's going to just explode right now when I tell you this, but these guys are paying out 12% daily. 12% daily.
No, I don't like that. I don't like that. That sounds degen. That sounds not real.
No, but listen, let me finish. Because of having that sort of onboarding system where there are no DeFi wallets, it's just you put your money in and you get your money out. They've been able to keep up that rate of payout. And I think it's been probably over 6, 7, 8 months, which is just mind-boggling. And it is, I'm not going to say, it is because they have that very, don't go DGen, man. You never know.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. But please, because you never know. I mean, the pressure of a system like that, you never know when, things could unravel, and I wouldn't want to be someone that exposed that to you. But I'm just showing you that I can see clearly that even a system with such a high amount of pressure, because the onboarding is so simple, send your Ethereum, send your Bitcoin, and then you're just getting your payouts. And then most people, what they're doing is they're reinvesting. And it's just a matter of click, hit a button, or kick deposit or withdraw. But it's no. You see what I'm saying? What I'm saying, the system can maintain that high level because it's so easy for people to come in and integrate and invest like that. So I think it's a proven model, and there's no doubt about it. That's why
you're proving my point. You're proving my point. That's the point.
I am.
You're proving the point I'm making. So that's why I'm saying do it. You must. Listen, I don't rarely say this. You must do this because you want to board, and also number two, whatever you don't want to share, that's fine. About that other product, that's not sustainable, by the way, because you're not going to be forcing withdrawals. All you got to do is set the CWR and then have them be able to withdraw on the side and like a dashboard for claimable. That's it. You have all the technical skills to execute on this in weeks, like in June to do this. You got to do this. This is going to blow it up. You're going to blow up the wallets. Everybody agrees with me. Everybody. You're going to have in months.
You're a piece of work.
Everybody agrees. Raise your hand. Speak up, everybody. Everybody vote now. We got to agree. Now, mind you, restore all that, figure it out. But you can execute on this. I'm telling you, people want this over the retail. The banking product is phenomenal. You have the ARK card already done. You've been testing for months. I'm just saying, we're hungry. We want this growth for you guys. We want this fire, this wildfire of growth to dominate and overtake. I want to eclipse drip. I want to eclipse drip. With the number of vaults equal the number of faucets over the number of faucets, okay? Vaults equal over the number of faucets. You got to do this. In 5 months, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
If you do this, what I'm saying.
Man on fire.
Brandon, speak up, Brandon. You have a voice. Speak up too. You support me.
I mean, user adoption, and especially like massive user adoption is most definitely the key. So I'm not agreeing or disagreeing, but I do agree that massive adoption would definitely pump all of our bags in a big way. And
it would make the price go to $6
totally
in 2 months.
It wouldn't be your true DeFi, Brandon. I mean, people would not have control of their wallet. It would be like a mass type of pool. I mean, we can get technical. We can have a separate conversation about it. But it's funny enough you bring this up because we had a big meeting about this about 2 months ago within the team. because I had seen something out in the market and I saw the growth it had, and my brain just exploded. And I realized that I knew the project wasn't, it didn't pass the mustard at all. It was clearly some type of scam, but the fact that it was so easy to get in made it just massive. And I said, man, there's something definitely to this.
Take the successful pieces and then make it sustainable. Stress test it. Stress test it with your model.
There's still some of these products that are out that have seed phrases and are non-custodial, and they're still integrated into the app. You don't have to do it full custodial. And there's one that I'm thinking of. I don't know if it's the same one that you are, that was super successful. It had a 6-word seed phrase, and it was integrated, and it went absolutely insane.
What's up?
Oh, it's a party here today, folks. It's a party.
Don't force it.
The village is hungry.
It's an option for mass adoption.
The village is
hungry. Don't do this. I'm surprised. You have 1 quarter to do this. You need to do this in a quarter. You can put 2 500,000 vaults in this year if you can do that. I'm just saying. If you don't, now I have a reason why. Because it's today. It's on you, Captain. You're the leader.
I know, sir. I know. But this is like I said, it's been on our mind, and there is a solution that we talked about way before of having a wallet like that. And when we were looking at the development of the mobile application that was presented. So, well, look, I mean, I hear the village happy.
If you do this, you're going to get 10 times more funding on ArkNet as well. Faster, because you're going to see wildfire adoption. It's all related. It's all sympathy. It's all related. That's guaranteed.
NATO's on fire.
10 times more faster. Helps
Quick
everybody. And
Go ahead.
Investors will. I will scream this out. Everybody will jump on the roof and scream it. ARK is the future when you do this. I'm telling you, everybody, including Brandon, including Kryptonite, everybody. I'm not saying this for no reason or for just silly giggles. Yeah, this is the. I'm telling this the right way.
It's serious business. But let's say Crypto Putter, he's been unmuted for some time. And Stephen Greeley, I apologize if I'm not saying your name correctly. But Crypto Putter, you're next.
Thanks,
everyone gets a chance.
Appreciate it, Atlas. As much as I love Nito's enthusiasm, I'm going to disagree and say, please continue as you are right now. We have seen so many people rush things and end up making a mistake. And in some cases, it was irreversible and it meant a lot of doom. So please continue to do what you guys are doing. You guys are deep thinkers. You guys look at every angle, and you test it and test it and test it and retest it and test it again. And the one thing I know Nito will agree with me on this, is the one thing that I've already, I've got a card magnet with my QR code on it, for crying out loud. I think I'm pretty well in. And the one thing that I've always loved so much about this community, especially the team more so than anything else, I don't hear empty promises. I don't hear, I'm going to give you a date next week to give you a date for the 2 or 3 weeks later. That doesn't happen here. The podcast every day, Q&A every day. Brett does his state of the union, if you will, or his updates every day if he has some. This community is built completely different. I would challenge to keep it going as it is. You already are forward thinkers. You already know what you want to do going forward. Those things are going to take time. And as long as you continue to take the time and you cross your T's and dot your I's, everybody in this community will be much better for it. As you've always said, this is not a quick, rich protocol. This is built for long term. And that's exactly what I'm looking at. I don't have to 5X tomorrow or 100X tomorrow. I don't. I'm not even looking at. I'm 53.
You missed my point.
Well, no, I didn't miss your point. I didn't miss your point at all. I seriously, I didn't. If he's got something, he can jump on it and he can get it out. Everybody's going to be better for it. That's fantastic. In some cases, when you rush so much that you make a mistake. And I feel very, very confident with Jan, Mr. Green, Brett, Atlas. They're not going to be doing these things. And so, I understand. And I kind of knew, not if there was anything nefarious that would happen, but I knew that one of two things is going to happen with the token price from 571 and 572. Is either going to go up because we were growing so much, or those early wallets were going to start maxing out and they're going to start withdrawing. Now, did I think it was going to go this low? No, I didn't. But I don't care. I don't. This is an opportunity where I've seen somebody, I can't remember where it was at. Somebody said something about, yeah, but you lost half your profits. No, I didn't. I just was able to buy a shit more ARK for half the price. So, I guess I'm different. I just appreciate everything that everybody's done. Not against anybody, not trying to, start a conflict or anything like that. I've promoted ARK as much as I possibly can and will continue to do so. And Atlas, as well as I do, I've always talked about, I don't know how to build a team or anything like that, because that's just not, I've got 7 now. Don't know how, but I got 7 now. And I'm helping them out. So, just you guys keep doing what you're doing, and I couldn't be happier about this.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let's Stephen wanted to say something. Let's go and give everybody a chance. You stated your point. Stephen, would you like to speak, sir? I know that you came on at the same time as. Go ahead.
It was covered, guys. All good. Thank you.
Okay, Nito, back to you.
Now listen, with respect, I'm not changing. They're not changing any model. ArkFi is continue. We would just have mass market adoption and access to a wildfire of onboarding. So it would be the same thing, but for purpose of those who didn't do use wallets or anything like that, it overcomes an extraordinary barrier to entry. That would only help everybody. Win, 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 win. And Atlas agrees with me, and he's going to back me up on this. And I'm telling you, in 6 months from now, when we do decide to do it, barring any regulatory issues, that I grant, if there's regulatory all this and risk, that's a huge deal. I agree. But barring that, and if it's possible to do, they will do it, because there's no reason not to. And it helps with adoption. It'll help raise the price. It'll help. It doesn't change the model. It will shift around some roadmap. And you'll get whoever you need to do it. You have all the ingredients to execute. So it's not like creating a new thing. It's not creating a new utility. It's just adding rocket fuel to the process already, and 10xing the business. And everybody will support that. Everybody would support that, even if you did a vote right now. But I appreciate your comment. And we're not even we're not rocking the boat. And we're not doing new things. It's the same thing, just faster and better, and mass adoption. That's a huge problem. And we're addressing it this way. It could.
Okay. Mr. Brandon?
I think we're already doing this. We're already doing the sales funnel and the affiliate marketing system and the links that can be shilled by non-crypto influencers and the Zoom calls and the whole system to help onboard people. So that's unless I'm misunderstanding, we're already doing what you're talking about.
Custody, send the asset, it's in ARK. Boom, done. No need for wallets, no need for one-on-one.
Well, what we're doing is actually bigger than that, because what you're talking about is a mechanism where people can deposit crypto that they already have. So that limits your demographic to people that are already invested in cryptocurrency.
Please explain it, Brandon, about the custody.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am. Please go right ahead.
As an investor, it's always important that the project, business, or anything I'm investing in is balanced, profitable, and the cash flow well managed. And I know that the fast growth will take toll on the cash flow of any project or businesses. So to me, that the ARK team has a really steady growth. And yes, all the big visions are great, but if you go too fast, it will take toll on the cash flow of the project. And most of the tech businesses are expense heavy when they developed, and they had to go through a series of rounds of capital raise, equity raise to sustain their business. And I feel that if we can go the growth in a steady pace, which is a lot more healthier and better for the project, and that will benefit all the investors rather than chasing next shiny object or big things and go growth too fast. That's my opinion. And I really think that the privacy network has a massive demand right now, because especially in the finance world, with all the open bankings, and I think that's big in Europe as well, we need better privacy network. And all the huge institutions want it right now. So I think that's a lot bigger picture and bringing a lot more money into project itself. And if I'm not mistaken, as an NFT holder, we're going to get benefit from it. Is that correct?
Oh, yes. Legacy NFT holders. That's the best play in ARK, because you're a partner in everything that is happening here. And thank you for your support and your comments. You're a professional in the finance field and a good friend of the project. So thank you. And I'd like to bring back the focus, if we may, to the pre-seed. This podcast, this day, is very important for the future of ArkFi and all the investors here. We have on the table decisions that need to be made. This is supporting, really taking a lot of sell pressure in the system. 130,000 ARK tokens. And NATO, we can continue this conversation. We have many days, many weeks, many months, and many years.
But I want to correct myself, because I want to correct myself for others, if I may. 1 second. I agree. You're right. I got a little enthusiastic because I always limit how you board custody. I just thought it was possible, but as slow and steady, I agree, is good. So that's thank you for that. I appreciate the input from the audience too.
It's wisdom. You know, she's bringing wisdom, and if you look at a massive, we've always said, if we go to a $10 million, 20 million overnight in the system, that will create a lot of issues. So look, we go in a pace where we're identifying, and going back to what I said to you, Nito, we have to deliver and complete what's 95% done. We have these funnels that we can find ways to make it easier, and we can find ways to improve, making the users come in. Absolutely. And like I said, it's something we have talked about, and there's a lot of different options on the table. However, the focus, going back right now, today, completing what we have been working on for so many months. Mr. Z, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just want to know Telegram's capabilities of podcasts, because we went on, I think, 3.5, 4 hours now. Could we go longer?
There is no limit. We could be here for a very long time. I mean, and how many podcasts did we do? 3-4 hours. And phase 1 and phase 2 here. 3-4 hours was every day. So yeah, coming back here to shed the light, and this is very important that we take this time here today to answer back to the focus, the opportunity before us and the decisions. This all plays out in the minds of every investor, 5,304. And we have a strategy here to complete this, take those tokens, put them back into the vault, and then use all these tools to rally. We've already said what our intentions are. At a minimum, hold the floor. And on the best days, as we rally here together, understand that we can't drag our feet. Our future depends on what we do here today, tomorrow, come Friday will be very important. And the weeks after that, if we sit idle, folks, then we're we're in for a world of pain. And I don't want to fearmonger anyone, but we have to be realistic and understand that we've been able to grow at a very steady rate because everyone has pitched in. And we have to find first that floor. We found it the last couple of days. We're not seeing a lot of the buys come in, but I think it's just through this transition, the bit of the shakeout. This is all in the end, I think, very positive. Having great leaders just come in and DCA into the position. I mean, that's smart money right there. So amazing folks coming in. We've said it. There's so many more to come. And let's bring it back. Let's do about another 5 minutes as we do have to do our Spark Rewards. We got 2 of them to do, so it's going to take some time. Is there anyone who has a question or a comment regarding the ArkNet Light Paper?
Atlas, I would like to say, I mean, I am so excited about the ARK, going into the vault and foundation. I mean, that was just like unbelievably exciting. But I tell you, I've got this feeling about this ArkNet. I mean, this is truly limitless. I mean, this really opens the doors to an unbelievable amount of innovation here. So, I mean, this is super exciting. And I tell you, I have to definitely to bring Brett out. I mean, this white paper, a light paper here is just incredible. I mean, just for him to put something like this together and just to simply understand. I mean, I've been reading this and taking it all in, and it's a great job. I mean, appreciate him putting it out there in simple terms where y'all can understand it, where we don't have to come back and ask a million questions. I mean, it's all there in simple terms, and it's just it's exciting roadmap, man. You guys are putting together some extreme stuff, and just looking forward to it. But this truly right here is just, like I said, limitless. I mean, this ArkNet is just something to be extremely proud of for the possibilities of where this can go. So, I mean, this is really, really exciting, man. I'm all over this. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Crypto Putter. I see Florida Realtor. Did you want to say something or ask a question, sir?
That was me.
That was him.
That was.
Oh, I thought that was Crypto Putter. Sorry, guys. I'm getting confused here. A lot going on. Thank you. Go ahead, Brett.
I do apologize. I actually came into this late. I knew you guys had already started regular time and everything, but I came into the backside of it. So a majority of what Brett went over, I missed, but that's okay. I'll go back and rewatch it. I know that you guys are, going to be doing different rounds and stuff. And I know you guys probably already said this. When are you kind of thinking about kicking this thing off?
It's March 26th.
March 20th. Can't be March.
Sorry, me. Sorry, I'm having a moment of confusion. There's a lot going on here. DM's going to May 26th. Yes, sir.
Thank you, buddy. Oh, and one last thing. I would encourage and challenge me being a small influencer as I am, but a lot of the other ones, which I know they're going to, we want to increase these, onboarding and buys and stuff. Really need to focus on the new stuff that's coming in. And I know a lot of people have been doing that. I just think we need to just hit it more, and they will come. You've already built it. They will come.
Our good friend Bindsy Dips, I see you're back, sir. Is there anything you wanted to ask or comment? You've had some time to take a look at the ARK Light paper. Let's see if he's able to speak. We're definitely giving the Crypto Badgers a ton of work with the long podcast that we've had for this past week and a half. But it's been very important to be here and to answer everything.
Is the light paper already posted?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It is. You can check the pin post. It's all there for you. Go right through it. And great comments there, Florida Realtor. Thank you. Coach Mistletoe, go ahead.
I was just saying I haven't shared it yet, but I will share it right now.
Oh, okay. I thought we had posted that when we started. Okay. Anyone else?
Hey, Alice.
Yes, sir.
I have a very simple mind, and I want to go through the pre-sale thing to see if I'm looking at this correct. So if I have 100 ARKs, right, I'm gonna get more or less $500 for that, right? Is that correct?
What?
With 100 ARKs, I put them in, and
that's correct. You get that value.
And then with that 500, I'll buy the new coin at 20 cents, which.
That's correct. Right, but you don't have to take the dollars and then do another transaction. Just with one transaction, Coach Roberto, you'll be credited the amount of ARK tokens according to that purchase that you made.
So it'd be like 2,000 new tokens or whatever. Okay.
Correct, sir.
Now I got it. And then, okay. I think that's pretty good. Thank you.
Let's get this crypto. All right.
Let me ask one question. In the light paper, it says claim tokens are sent to the investor's wallet where they can be sold on participating decentralized exchange or centralized exchange. Do y'all have any centralized exchange or any other exchanges that y'all have in mind that's going to be participating that you know of now that you can share, or is it something down the road you're going to work on?
Down the road.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir. That'll all come together. It's very premature, but obviously we'll start with tier 3, tier 2, and the aim, of course, is to get to the tier 1s.
Stay away from BKEX.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people to stay away from in there. There's no doubts about that. That's going to be part of the whole process, right? The due diligence and who's on the up and up, and we have people for that. We have friends in common that are very involved in that.
Yeah, they're withholding over $10,000 of mine.
What?
They're withholding over 10 grand, saying I sold the tokens that I sold.
What?
Even though the project manager sent them a message saying no, they're all legit. But it's just a way of getting around it. Then they're saying I need information from PancakeSwap, a proof of the exchange, and they won't accept TX hashes or anything.
So, I mean, that's stealing.
It is. But they're saying I can't prove that I didn't steal the tokens, so therefore they're not paying me the money.
Well, that's really bad. That's completely unacceptable. I mean, even if it was, $50 or $100, I mean, not that amount of money, any amount of money. Wow. No, absolutely. Do they have a lot of bad reviews and online and people on their Twitter? And so it's a scam. That's just a straight scam.
It is a scam, yes.
Wow. Well, we're definitely steering clear. That's for sure. Thank you for letting us know. But no, we want to go with more reputable names, and you have to be very careful in that part of the business. Thank you for sharing that, Mark. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
But also, when's the information going to be released on the Air card and the Terra card?
Pretty soon. We're still working on it. I mean, we wanted to release, a couple of days ago, at least the Air card, but with having to deal with the drop in price and find the best solution, tokenomics, to be able to offer the investors this opportunity correctly, it's taken a lot of the focus and just dealing and managing with the community and sentiment, people that were concerned. So, hang tight as we're still in that process. I mean, we worked on it a lot today as well as yesterday.
Okay, cheers.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Last question, because we have gone in through time. NATO time rugged us today, but I like his questions. He definitely asks what is on a lot of our minds. So thank you, NATO, for that, brother. But back here to the focus. 20 more seconds, and then we'll go do Spark rewards.
Hey, I'll try for one if I can.
Of course you can, sir.
It's not going to be...
Justin, we lost you. You're muted.
Sorry, it's a stupid bloody microphone when I move.
I understand. What's your question?
We're changing. So...
Oh, no.
Justin, it's happened sometimes. I recall sometimes it sounds really, really hard to hear.
Sorry, happened again. Great to hear so many Aussies on the chat. Okay, so when we exchange for these things, there's nothing about 2% anymore. Is that right? No more worrying about compounding. It's just sort of we just get them invested, yeah?
Yep, the simple process. Correct.
Okay, cool. So it's just a matter of how many you can amass. Yeah, cool. Done. Thank you.
And getting in the right rounds because there's going to be some daily limits for it. So absolutely, stay tuned. And look, we still have a couple more days. We're going to be back tomorrow. The admins are going to be here answering questions. You know, they're seeing it for the first time as well. So this is our chance to digest it and ask the right questions. But again, yes, I can't say it enough. Bernard did an amazing job. Very simple to understand. But we want to make sure to get this out there. We'll probably put this also on the D app, so everyone that's logging into the D app can come and read this and understand their opportunity. We don't want to hear folks crying later. There, he was hot micing. All right, can you see my screen, Mistletoe?
We don't see the spark, but we do see the home screen.
Perfect. We just got to switch on over. So bear with me. And the way we could do this to simplify, because I need some time because we have to release the beast of Spark twice. I'm going to do it first, and then I'm going to turn it over to you to do the all aboard Wheel of the Toad. And during the time that you're doing that, I'm going to work here on my back end to set up the second transactions.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your help, sir.
Let me just share my screen.
Mistletoe, we're going to do first Spark, then the Wheel of the Toad, and then the second Spark.
Oh, right. Second
Thank you.
spark. Sorry.
Yeah, you'll be in the middle.
Not every day we see 1,700 ARK on the screen. Holy.
Well, it's 2 days. This is the first time we've had to split it this way. Let's hope it all works correctly. This is our first time having to split it up. Mostly Safe has been very reliable. I've been using it for a very, very long time. Can't live without it. But they, like anything, it's tech. They can have an issue in the system. The wallets weren't connecting, so we were not able to access it. But they took care of it. But it wasn't until this morning.
Nice. But even with that 1,700, that's well above an all-time high for sure. Even splitting into two.
That's true. we've gone a bit late.
Going to be some lucky winners tonight. Holy.
They have won 765.46 ARK. That's a street value of $1,878.62. Their wallet ends in 8BFC. Let's go. Looks like the splitting of the pot has been successful, Houston. Success here on that. And the MVP for yesterday, their wallet ends in EE7F. They've won 85.05 ARK. That's a street value, folks, of $208.74. Congratulations, Nitro Node, 2% NDV through the roof. Hope you enjoy it. And what we'll do, Mistletoe, because I do have to focus, it's going to be hard for me to spin the wheel, I've realized, while I have to focus on the second transaction to clear this. So we're just going to sit back, listen to some music, and then we'll do the Wheel of the Toad. I hope it's okay, sir.
Oh, yeah. That beat was awesome.
Let's go. Right, folks. So the front-end system is not recognizing the fresh new winners. It pulled up the last ones. So let me show you here, because we do have the new Spark winner. Okay, 824, 524. So 23, where's 22? Give me a second, folks. Size 765 and EE7F. Listen to what you're seeing on the screen here is the previous one, right?
Yeah, that's the previous one.
Here, let me try to refresh on our D app and see if it's recognizing the new one. That we'll have to chase it down through the blockchain. Yeah, it's such updating the last one. I have to get with Alex So I can tell you the winner of the MVP was FC A4. That's MVP for today. You're seeing there on the screen the MVP for yesterday. But I'm going to have to go through the blockchain to find you the winner for today because the front end's just not showing it. All right. You got that, Mistletoe? Because you're the one who creates the announcements, right?
For Alex to get back there and create. I've already posted the first winner, so we'll just wait for the second winner.
Fantastic, sir. Way to go. 10 steps ahead. And let's do the wheel of the toad. It's 100. It's 100 for today. We had a great turnout. I think it's like 70-something people came in. Thank you all for being here with us. Very important day. But I'm really glad the splitting worked.
And Alice,
that's awesome.
I need to drop off here pretty soon, but I just wanted to mention that Fitly Health did publish our first article on Medium. If you want to.
Oh, yes, please. Let me. I have it here. Perfect time. Thank you for reminding us. Tell us a little bit about it while I go and go ahead and post it here and pin it.
Yeah, so what we're really doing when you get right down to it with Fitly Health is we're creating an opportunity for decentralized healthcare. So decentralized in the sense that you really get to take your own healthcare into your own hands with some really amazing technology, not just the smart plate, but we're also doing some predictive AI for your metabolism. And really the key to avoiding a lot of the chronic diseases and issues that we tend to have as a species. The key is metabolic health, meaning you kind of keep your blood sugar on an even keel, so to speak. Avoiding the valleys and the peaks in your blood sugar is really the holy grail to ideal health and fitness and weight loss, and most importantly, avoiding the chronic killers like heart disease and hypertension and diabetes. Diabetes is a big one. So we have some technology where we're putting it into the hands of our users to really take their health into their own hands. So it's decentralized in that way. But then, of course, we also have the opportunity for folks to monetize their own data. And if you didn't know, health data is more valuable than any other data. And we typically give our data away for free, right, to these big tech companies and social media companies and all the rest. We usually just give the data away. So this is an opportunity to not only monetize your own data for once instead of giving it away for free, but it's also, health data is very valuable to the tune of $1,500 to $5,000 a year, and that's a recurring source of income. If you can harness it and get the data from you, the user, to the big institutions and the research organizations and the data brokers, and the marketing agencies, and all the rest of the data marketplace just globally is massive, trillions of dollars. So it's decentralized healthcare and it's decentralized data monetization. So we posted that article, and we're doing an AMA in our Telegram group on Friday. Hopefully what is the timing for the Friday opening of the pre-seed contract? I hope it's not 1 p.m. Eastern.
Why is that?
Well, 1 p.m. Eastern is when we're planning to do a presentation and a Q&A session in the Smart Play Telegram group, just to get everybody up to speed with the latest developments of what we're building over at Fitly Health.
Well, we don't have a set time yet, but we'll make sure to work our way around that so you can have full support here from your family at ARK.
Very kind of you, sir.
We love what you're doing. Thank you so much. Yes. And actually, Mistletoe, I do see the front end has logged in the second winner. Let me show it here for you folks. Credit where it is due. And boy, this is a nice, fantastic spark for this special winner. So hold on a quick second, folks. Let's announce them as it should be. And we're going to be able to see here that we have the two winners. Do you see that, Mr. Mistletoe?
We just see the home screen. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I do see it.
Yeah. So the winner of today's Spark Prize, because it did function perfectly to split it, is 83AC. Their first-time winner. They've won 769.21 ARK Nitro mode all the way, folks. And the MVP for today, the wallet ends in FCA4. Fantastic. Thank you, folks. Carry on with the Wheel of the Toad, please. More prizes. Amazing.
Oh, all right. All right, everyone should be able to see the Wheel of the Toad here. If it is your first time, you have no idea what is going on. Every single day after the podcast, we host a new Sweep Widget link, and all you have to do to get to participate in the contest is click on that new Sweep Widget link. You're going to be redirected to a task list. It's going to range from liking and commenting some YouTube videos, clapping up some Medium articles, retweeting some Twitter links, and even just visiting some websites. Once you go through on the whole list and do all the tasks, then your name will pop up on this lovely wheel. I do want to just make a note that if anyone does have any Twitter issues, I know that there's been people having some troubles with getting blocked for spam. If you do have issues with the Twitter, please just complete all the rest of the tasks, and I'll make note of your username, and you'll still be entered at the wheel. But yeah, every single day, all you have to do is take 2 to 5 minutes of your time, go in there, complete all those tasks, and your name will pop up in this lovely wheel right here for your chance to win $50 to $100 worth of BUSD. And we do this every single day, so please get involved. Just work it into your daily allocation schedule, or when you wake up or have lunch or whatever. Just like the videos, comment on the videos, clap up those Medium articles. You'll be entered every single day for your chance to win some free money. And everyone loves free money. So without further ado, let's give some away.
Yes, they do, sir. And on the count of 3, 2, 1, let it rip. Sporting the I Love ARK in the middle.
And congratulations, Cat 4 Dammits. You've won $100 worth of BUSD. Thank you for participating. And congratulations.
Now, further ado.
Have a great night. Sorry, I got to take off. Have a good one.
No worries. We'll do a quick DeFi session.
Oh, man. Oh, I don't want to miss that, but my wife is not going to be happy. It's 3.5 hour podcast.
It's recorded. You can always check it out later. I'll make it happy.
Later.
Yes, sir. Mr. Z. Do we still have him? Yes, we do. Let's go. Z, your microphone is muted.
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet today. We run a bunch of time, and I'm sure people want to learn about ArkNet more. But there's been some updates in Hong Kong. If any of you live in Hong Kong, so the news is Hong Kong to open crypto exchange access to retail users. But there's a catch, right? So Hong Kong security watchdog announced new plans to allow retail investors access to virtual assets platforms. The Hong Kong Securities and Futures Commissions announced it would soon allow licensed platforms to serve retail investors. Really, really bullish. So the FSC made a statement here. So Julia Young had this to say. Hong Kong's comprehensive virtual asset regulatory framework follows the principle of same business, same risk, same rules, and aims to provide robust investors protection and manage key risks. So now folks like Binance and Krakens and OKXs can start to to have the same sort of, like, you can say, red carpet treatment that they get in the Middle East, in Hong Kong. There's one catch though that the SFC have put in. So additionally, the SFC. Whilst the guideline will become effective in June 2023, the SFC have yet to approve any virtual assets trading platforms to provide services to retail investors, according to announcements received. Additionally, the SFC said it would implement a number of robust measures to ensure protection for retail investors. These include, there's going to be a checklist of things before, I guess, a token gets launched or gets listed. So these look like some of the checking. So these include good governance, suitability during the onboard process, enhanced token due diligence, admission criteria, and disclosure. So the announcement highlights that at the moment, most of the virtual assets trading platforms accessible to the public are not regulated by the SFC. It continues to say that those who do not wish to comply with the upcoming guidelines should plan for an orderly closure of business operations. So I think this is a sign that meme coins aren't going to be welcomed in Hong Kong. I think when a token gets listed or an exchange goes up, there's a bunch of sentiment they have to go through, a bunch of auditing, and they have to safeguard their retail investors. So that's the catch there. Like, there's going to be a bunch of due diligence done, and you need to have utility to your token if you want to launch in Hong Kong. That's the. But I mean, it's bullish to see that Hong Kong is now allowing for retail investors to buy into crypto, and allowing things like Crypto.com and others to come expand. So that's the good news in Hong Kong for crypto. So more adoption, more people will come to crypto. And then for me, nothing gets more game theory than Japan. Because Japan is, like, I think, the home to Nintendo, home to Arcadia. And when you look at Tokyo at nighttime, it really does define the metaverse. I think Times Square has its regional moments of lightings and metaverse vibes, but nothing like Osaka. So Osaka is being reignited, and if you guys remember this background, this was in the film John Wick. So they are basically rebuilding the whole city of Osaka to basically adapt to AI and to cryptocurrencies. And I'm looking forward to that rebranding there. So as one of the largest cities in Japan, Osaka and broader Kansai region stands out in contrast to Tokyo for its unique dialects, seemingly grittier ways of life, and as the gateway to the island of Shikoku in West Japan. Though many arriving in the country tend to land either to Narita or Haneda near Tokyo, Kansai International Airport is also a popular point of entry for those looking for easier access to the historic area. So this is what they're doing to to rebrand Osaka, and basically the first sort of notice people sort of say Satoshi Japanese. Despite most speculation and research from crypto users over the last 15 years, no one has been able to definitive able to definitive prove that Satoshi Nakamoto was Japanese, though he claimed he had lived in Japan. None of his posts online forums suggest that. So, Osaka is looking to become the next sort of Abu Dhabi, the next Dubai, and they're doing it in a really cool way, rebranding old big empire buildings and making the place more adaptive to migration and stuff. And they've already started the AI generation of NFTs there. So this was the first one. A painting Ethereum merge became mad. Vitalik Buterin around street stall in Osaka, inspiring by Edo period. So we're starting to see AI sort of NFTs come to light like this in Osaka, Japan. So that's bullish, really bullish stuff. The last thing I'll cover is the price of Bitcoin, because everything leans on Bitcoin right now. Currently, we are still at a range, and we predicted this range to be here for a while. And if you remember last week, we were sort of predicting that we sort of wick up here, and then we sort of find a distribution here. We had these two areas sort of charted up, and thus far we have tapped into this pool at 26,000, 200, 300, and I think we stay at a range, and then depending on the interest rate hikes in America with I think another 0.25 basis points, I think we start to fall lower here. So we'll see how that plays out in the next few weeks.
Did we not tell him? Take profits, ladies and gentlemen. NATO, take your profits. Folks, pay yourselves.
No, I supported this fall down because of the definitely it's in heat.
It was a bitch.
But it should come down.
It was all a trap, my friends. All a trap, a heinous trap. But bam, James at the water cooler, he fell right into it. Let's get this crypto. Continue, Mr. DeFi Sessions.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So I think we the next month or so we're going to hear about interest rate hikes. We're going to conclude the ripple effect and see where XRP lands. And my prediction is we are going to increase interest rates. We are going to take more money away from the middleman, and I think we go lower. So if you guys are buying dips right now, just be very, very careful. This is a place of deep waters. Because the first dip we predicted was 3 weeks ago, and thus far technically that's been proven correct. Unless I'm wrong and we go back to 30K, then everyone can say, I was wrong. But according to technicals and as you can see, change of character here, I think we're going below and filling gaps. I think the market wants to correct itself. And I think that sort of covers my DeFi session for tonight. If Brandon is still here, could you give me a shout after this? And that concludes the DeFi session. Thank you, guys. Yeah, Neto. How's it going?
In Japan, this whole meta thing, that is there any policy that's also supporting the bullishness, or is it just like a movement of art and like the meta inspired themes and stuff like that in Japan?
It's a mix of things. Osaka used to be the trading district of the rice. So if you see candlestick patterns, this comes from rice trading and futures. So Osaka is where they used to do all the sort of futures trading. That's where the trading house comes from, and now they want to rebrand a bunch of that to bring in new technology, new sort of metaverse experiences and AI, and they're doing a really, really cool job. I'll cover that more and see how they go. But two bullish sides. You have Hong Kong adding liquidity to retail investors, and you have Osaka rebranding for the metaverse.
Okay, and then other point is there. Did you have a chance to look at what we discussed on the CBDC play, the plan, master plan, the sinister plan for
Yeah.
the government?
No, I have, and I would like to discuss that, but right now I think we've gone 4 or 5 hours now, so I think everyone wants to do the research on ArkNet and stuff, and we'll do that.
Yeah, I mean later, like
hopefully
next day or something. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. We'll tap into that for sure. I'm super interested. So maybe tomorrow or day after.
Brett definitely has the he had the insight on what's happening and kind of how it plays out. If you guys can both describe that would be such a great wisdom, to appreciate how this might unfold, and very very pertinent to what we're doing, or what ARK is doing, with the forces at be, with privacy and all. So it'd be great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Neto. We'll speak on it soon. Thank you, guys.
And thank you, Mr. Z, Brent Nordine, Mistletoad, Coach Brad, and everyone who really came and participated, listened, asked questions. Very important day. Big decisions that need to be made. We want everyone to have an opportunity to get in, come in and join us in ArkNet. Business as usual here on ArkFi. We're seeing the pressure of the sales really come down to a trickle. Great opportunity for us to rally and seize today. We can't drag our feet. We need to step up. We need to find our best ways to come and buy these dips and get folks involved, and put attention to the onboarding, the presentations on Zoom. Let's send folks over there like what Crypto Putter did. Shout out to Crypto Putter. He had a magnet of his QR code, put it on the car. Very creative idea, and there's going to be so many more. Thank you all for giving us so much time today. We don't like going this long as we used to, but this was a very, very important event. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time, 4 p.m. EST, 8 p.m. UTC. We want to thank for the folks that are listening to the podcast for your participation. We hope you found it educational as well as entertaining. If you have any further questions, we're always here. VC's open. The admins are here to answer anything you may need. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. And we'll see you tomorrow.